And we are live. So, hey, everybody, this is Roberto Blake, helping you create something awesome today. Welcome back to another live stream. Today, we are doing a workshop Wednesday stream. We're going to be going over a lot of things. I have a presentation for you for week 1 of 12 of our Wednesday workshops. We're going to be focusing on helping content creators who have been struggling to grow to over 20,000 subscribers. So if you're 20,000 subscribers, you're a small YouTuber, you're 20,000 subscribers or below, then you're in exactly the right place, because this is where you want to be to learn more about YouTube in a more strategic way, in a way that's going to really help you not only understand YouTube, but how to learn more about YouTube. And this week's workshop is going to be focused a lot on setting expectations, setting goals, and understanding milestones. A lot of you start YouTube with completely unreasonable expectations on yourself as a small creator. You don't know how long it's going to take to grow, how many uploads you should be doing per week. You don't have any kind of structure or guidance on what to focus on and what's important when it comes to doing YouTube. So this is the type of video that you want to watch repeatedly in long form, and you may want to actually take notes for this. There is an actual presentation deck that we have for this. That presentation deck is also available if you want to download it with the link down below over at awesomecreatoracademy.com. So that is linked in the description of the video here on YouTube. The replay of this workshop will be hosted on YouTube for pretty much forever, just as long as I want it to, which is usually forever. And this is going to be kind of a reference point for you so that you can learn how to properly learn YouTube. We're going to approach these 12-week workshops kind of like night school for content creators. So I hope you guys are really looking forward to this. This is something that I took quite a bit of effort and time to put together. Also, thank you to our friends over at oneof10.com who are sponsoring. Link is in the description down below. One of 10 is a great tool for you, no matter what level of creator you are. And you can get 50% off with code Roberto at checkout. And you can get a free trial with code AWESOME at checkout. Link to that and all of my resources are down below. We've curated affiliate links for the best tools in YouTube for you. We've even got some links to the right camera gear for every budget to help you with your content creation. So we have that. We're also going to make sure we try to answer some of your questions from the chat for sure. Excuse me. So we're going to be doing that. The main thing here is we want to just kind of put you on the right path when it comes to YouTube. So this is our creator playbook we're going to be going through in terms of slide presentations. We're also going to answer some of your questions. You can also learn more about everything we're doing here at awesomecreatoracademy.com. With the Academy Pro group, we do offer 2 nightly group coaching calls every week on Tuesday and Thursday. I also have a VIP option. There are one-on-one coaching calls as well. And you also, if you want the slides, can go to the link here, www.awesomecreatoracademy.com/week1 to get the week 1 slides. We will be having presentation slides for you for each week of these workshops to help you and to add to your notes. So make sure you're checking that out. Thank you to our mods for making sure they're showcasing the link in the chat for you. So appreciate that. And also you can use this QR code if you want to screenshot that for later to be able to go to the full presentation. It's a one-click PDF download for you to get that. You do have to sign up with your email. But this makes sure that you have the slides and that you have the notes here. So background on me before we get too deep into this. There may be some of you who are not familiar with me. You've never heard of me before. Who am I? Why am I teaching about YouTube? Why should you listen to me? I'm what is affectionately called an OG YouTuber. I've been on the platform basically since the very beginning, but I didn't start taking YouTube seriously until 2013. In 2013, I had no audience. You can literally check things like Social Blade. I had no audience. It didn't matter that I was an OG YouTuber. I wasn't uploading. I uploaded like 4 videos a year in 2009. So, it doesn't matter when I started, it matters when I committed to content and committed to delivering for an audience. And what that meant is showing up each and every single week. So, what I did was I started uploading 2 videos a week, and that got me to 10,000 subscribers in about roughly, I want to say, 11 months, I think it was. And then I repeated this process for another year. So in 2015, February, I had 20,000 subscribers. Then I decided to do something wild. This is not necessarily what you need to do, but this will explain to you why some channels grow faster than others. And this was all before YouTube Shorts, because people are using that strategy now. But I grew in 14 months to 100,000 subscribers because I went daily. So because I went daily and I had so much content, I think I did like 800 uploads total. I was able to grow without going viral, without any snowballing, no blowing up. I was able to just grow from 20,000 to 100,000 in 14 months. So in spring of 2016, I got my silver play button the same year Mr. Beast got his silver play button. And both of us had to upload hundreds upon hundreds of videos to accomplish that. I think Mr. Beast uploaded 460 videos to get 10,000 subscribers. I used to be a bigger channel than him once upon a time, and I was able to do that successfully. 2016 was also the year I became a six-figure content creator. I hadn't started doing coaching yet. We hadn't done any of the digital products, anything like that. I made my money mostly the way that most content creators do. I still make most of my revenue from brand deals rather than through the academy, but it is important to note a couple of things that over the years I've done very well for myself. I used Amazon affiliate links in the beginning, making 1,200 a month. I was able to make rent money from content creation through Amazon affiliate links. I was able to get clients for social media management through my YouTube channel and manage other people's social media profiles. That's what I was doing at the time. I was a freelancer doing social media marketing, video editing, and graphic design, and doing some writing. I was able to start a public speaking career. So they started paying me and flying me to events to talk about social media and about platforms and about the beginnings of the creator economy as early back as 2015, 2016. I am speaking at Social Media Marketing World and a couple of other conferences, eventually Vid Summit and VidCon. And I'm speaking at VidCon again this year. And so things snowballed, and I ended up in a position where I became a $300,000 a year content creator during the pandemic, with a big chunk of that revenue being sponsorship. But I also was making money from affiliate links. That's important to diversify. You don't want to rely on ad revenue. Did okay in the YouTube partner program, but you don't want to rely on ad revenue. I did sponsors, and I sold my coaching calls and my own digital products. So I diversified, I made myself secure. And during the pandemic, this was great for me because if I still had to work a traditional job like I did in corporate America, who knows what might have happened. So I was in control of my own destiny. And that's what I want for creators. I want you to be able to become a full-time content creator. For a lot of you, $5,000 a month will cut it. So you know now what my story was, what my journey was. My journey was I became a full-time freelancer and consultant using the skills that I had as a marketing manager in corporate America, and became a manager for other people's social media and YouTube channels. A lot of younger people today do that, much younger than I was when I started at 27, 28. And today, a lot of people will do video editing for another creator. I was doing it for companies. I was doing it for conferences. So I was doing for businesses what content creators now do for creator businesses when they want to get started. And that was my journey. I became a full-time content creator, quote unquote, if you want to look at it that way, where I could make enough just from content in 2016 when I became a 100,000 subscriber channel. Today, it's possible to do that with much smaller audiences. There are a lot of different ways to monetize for different creators. I've successfully coached well over 600 creators in my time. I think 65, 70 creators I've coached have silver play buttons now. We have about 10 or 12 in the academy that we've ever done that have gold play buttons. There is a lot of different ways to be successful as a content creator. It's not just ad revenue. You can do brand deals. You can do affiliate links. You can sell your own digital products. You can sell physical products. You can do merchandise. There's so many ways to monetize. But this week, what we really want to focus on is helping you understand the beginnings of being a content creator and answer a lot of your questions. And one of the big ones is, how long does it take to succeed? This is different for everybody, but I'm going to be honest with you. It usually takes most content creators 5 to 7 years to become full-time content creators. And I know that's not what a lot of you want to hear, but it's because most of you are working class content creators. And so what do I mean by that? Because most of you are working class content creators, you are doing content after working a 40 to 50 hour a week job already. So your content creation isn't your number one priority. It's not even half of your priority because you work a 9 to 5 job. You're doing this with the leftover scraps of energy. You're still trying to live an adult life. You're still trying to have a social life. You still have to come home, cook, clean, be with family, do whatever you need to do. And content creation is still supposed to fit in there. That's why it takes you 5 to 7 years. It took me 3 years because I was a freelancer. Yes. I had clients. Yes. And I was working 12-hour days, but I was in control of those 12-hour days, and they weren't 12 hours straight. I was taking a nap in between. So the difference is, if somebody has the circumstances to go all in, they can grow themselves in 1 to 3 years if they can go all in. Most of you will not be able to do that. Most of you shouldn't do that. And remember, my niche of content creation, doing tech and tutorials at the time, helping other freelancers and creative professionals before I moved to helping content creators, was still a lucrative niche, still had an opportunity to earn very well with the Amazon affiliate program, because recommending camera gear it gives you 30, 50, up to $90 commissions for professional camera gear. Professional camera gear, laptops, and drones, very expensive. The commissions for that in Amazon are very good. If it's a professional camera lens, I get a $90 commission. So getting to $1,000 a month and paying rent money in North Carolina was not going to be as hard with the Amazon influencer program. If you're a gamer, you're not going to make that kind of money in YouTube. You may never be able to be full-time depending on how you're doing it if you don't go viral. If you're a vlogger, there are other challenges. If you're a family vlogger, there are other challenges with monetization and so on and so forth. Animation channels, you may not be able to upload as frequently. I've worked with an animation channel that helped cross 1 million subscribers before. There's a lot of different challenges in that. That one's absolutely a quality over quantity play. But there are other niches. Most niches on YouTube, quantity over quality, believe it or not. News and commentary, political commentary right now blowing up. That is definitely quantity versus quality, and it works and it prints money because there are so many mid-roll ads in it. So there's so many sponsor opportunities in it. Lifestyle content, cozy lifestyle content. There's a lot that can be done there. That's definitely a quantity over quality. So don't misunderstand it just because your favorite big YouTuber is a quality over quantity person. Most of the YouTube middle class, quantity and consistency is much more important for them. Editing is not even that important for most of the YouTube middle class. Most of them are able to make content that relies a lot more on presentation, production, and personality. Personality being probably the most important thing besides their packaging of their videos. And they're able to thrive and make really good money. 6 figures, multiple 6 figures, many of them. The YouTube middle class is also not only for young, vibrant 20-something-year-olds or teenagers that go viral. The YouTube middle class is mostly built by people over 30 who are professionals, who are commentators, who are adults who have some experience to leverage for status and social proof. It's engineers, doctors, lawyers, scientists, marketers, salespeople, real estate agents. It's people who bring something pretty substantial to the table outside of entertainment. So the YouTube middle class is filled with a lot of those people. The YouTube middle class is not primarily built on entertainment, believe it or not. So just kind of keep that in mind. And that if you are a working class content creator who is over 30, over 40, over 50, this is something you are capable of. But do understand that the reason it's going to take you longer in some cases is you have a family, you have a job, you have other responsibilities, and you don't have the stamina you had at 20. Youth can grow fast in YouTube a lot of times because they can go all in. They can stay up late, wake up early. They can blow off every other responsibility. They don't have kids. They may not have a full-time job yet. They may be in college. They may be taking a gap year. The most successful, biggest YouTubers are people who are almost all exclusively, with very few exceptions, like Casey Neistat and Mark Rober. You have to understand, the YouTubers who grow faster that you all have heard about and look up to, what do they have in common? They are under 30, not married, no children. That's the key to their fast rise success, because they can be all in. They can work 60, 80 hours on YouTube if that's what it takes to win. They can do this in a way that you may not be able to. You also have to understand there are other people with circumstances. There may be people in their 30s, 40s, and 50s that can do YouTube differently than you because they can hire workers. They can hire a video editor. They can hire a video producer. They can hire a channel manager. They may even be able to hire a coach. They may be able to do things that you cannot. There's a YouTuber I know, he was able to grow very successfully and very fast because his wife retired him and let him go all in on YouTube for 2 years and financed his channel with $30,000 of cash flow investment to start up. So he got startup capital from his wife, who was a successful real estate agent, six figure, from her commissions, doing very well for herself. She saw him doing a corporate job still that he absolutely hated, was making him miserable. She was like, "We make more than enough money. You get to try to do something you're passionate about. Let's see what happens. I want you to be happy." She gives him $30,000 and he tries his heart out for 2 years and succeeds wildly at YouTube and becomes more successful. And it ends up being more lucrative than her business at the time. And then she ends up becoming a content creator and so on and so forth. So you can't just say, well, why is someone succeeding? We're in the same niche. We started at the same time. They have a different lifestyle than you in some cases. You don't know who's helping them. You don't know if they've been taught something differently than you. You don't know if someone's financially backing them. Could be husband, could be wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, parents, could be any number of things going on there. There could be a lot of things just behind the scenes that are radically different in their life than your life. They could be in a situation where they have help with their kids. Even if they have kids, they might have help from the grandparents. So don't judge your YouTube journey by somebody else's growth. You do not know their circumstances. They don't know yours. Realistically, if you're a working class creator and you can't go all in, it might take you 5 to 7 years in some cases. What we're going to do is we're going to try to cut some of that, because a good chunk of that first 2 years is learning curve and making mistakes. And so that's why we want to set reasonable expectations here. And that's what we want to teach today. So we want to put that in perspective. You can get there, by the way. That's not to discourage anybody, just so we are clear. That's not to discourage anybody. It's just that we have to then address how we're going to get over those things. And it means if you have less time, than other people, you have to be more efficient. If you have less time, you have to master video editing quicker as a priority, because for most of you, video editing will take the most time. So if you front load learning video editing efficiently, effectively, and how to be quick and accurate and smart instead of being fancy, artsy, and agonizing over it just to barely move the needle and not even get any more retention or revenue for it, we need to figure out how to lock that down. We need to design structure, give you a better workflow and a better workday, so that instead of something taking 10 hours, what if we can make it take 2 or 3? That's what you need to do as a working class creator. More hours and working harder isn't the answer. Working smarter is. But working smarter is learning how to turn 10 hours into 3 hours and get 90% of the same outcome. That's what you need to do. Someone is asking, how do you feel about the no editing videos that are being promoted more now? That also is very niche. So no editing and low editing content, a lot of that's very niche. And that's also for people who have different circumstances and different niches. If you're doing commentary, you ain't got to do a lot of editing. If you're doing commentary, it's similar to reaction. There's not a lot of editing involved. If you're doing opinion-based content, not a lot of editing there involved. If you're doing live streaming, there's no editing. If you're doing and clipping things from a live stream, there's not really any editing. There's just clipping. But that takes a certain personality. If you don't have the edits, you better have the charisma. So for someone whose public speaking ability is only a 1 out of 5 or a 2 out of 5, that doesn't cut it to say, well, you can't do editing now, or you're not going to do editing, or you're going to do a no edit YouTube video. If you're going to do a no edit YouTube video and you have the charisma of all of a sack of carrots, it's not going to work. So that's the issue there. You also can't pull it off if you have poor packaging. Poor packaging will not get clicks, even if the editing is great. Good editing, bad packaging doesn't work. Great packaging, no editing can work. But no editing, no charisma, no communication skills, no confidence on camera. So you're out. If you have production in your favor, you have personality in your favor, and you have presentation skills. If you have production, presentation, personality, absolutely you can carry a video without editing. Look at me. I'm a good live streamer for that reason. I have live stream replays. Packaging also would matter there. I have live stream replays on this channel that have sometimes 800,000 views, 300,000 views, 60,000 views, 50,000 views. Those are live streams that when I was live had 200 viewers, 100 viewers live, but the replay value was strong, the packaging was strong, the delivery was strong, the personality was strong, so it works. It works without editing for that reason. So just keep in mind that you need to be able to, if you don't have charm, charisma, comedic timing and effect, clarity of speech, confidence in your speech, the ability to emote, the ability to understand production. Production is the lighting, the camera, the audio, the framing. Notice the video camera is not like all up my nose. It's also not, it's like it's locked in. It's even the fact that I have an Elgato prompter, not because I need a prompter, but so I can make eye contact with you in a way that someone else live streaming cannot. The same way that I have a second camera with a chat so that the monitor has a chat dialogue so I can go look at the chat and then look at the camera and do those things. That's production. And so it's not editing, but the replay value is still, pretty good. So it's that sort of thing that works. Now, there are people who will not take this nearly as far. It's the fact that I put together even a slide presentation there's all kinds of things you can do if you want to get around editing, but that requires technical skills and training. The goal for the content in our workshop tonight and for the next 12 weeks and the materials that I do in Awesome Creator Academy, the things I teach our students in the pro group, are all designed to help you skill up, because skill will overcome a lot, and a lack of time can be overcome by an abundance of skill. That's the difference. A skilled YouTuber can do in 10 hours, when an unskilled YouTuber will take 100 hours to do. This is why I also don't believe that quality and quantity are mutually exclusive, because if you get to a high enough level of skill to where you take 20 hours of effort to make quality content and get used to it and train really hard in it, you can get that same result in 4 or 5 hours through skill once you're at a high enough level. So now it's economy of effort, right? Oh, that used to take me 20 hours when I was a rookie. Now that I'm not a rookie, it takes me 4 or 5 hours. Oh, well, now that I'm a master, what took me 4 or 5 hours takes me 2 hours. And now there's not as big of a compromise between quality and quantity. That's the key. The other key to quality and quantity is, remember what I said. If you get to a certain level of success, you start making a certain amount of money. You start making a certain amount of money. These other YouTubers, what they will do, whether you know it or not, is they will not do their editing anymore. They will hire it out early. In fact, some YouTubers won't even take a salary from their channel. And when they make all their money, they immediately hire a thumbnail designer and editor, because then they can get their views and their quality and everything up. Then they're using that going out and getting brand deals. Then they pay themselves a salary out of the brand deals. Then they start to make this thing efficient enough to quit their full-time job. What they do, though, is they replace themselves in the areas that they're usually weak or slow, which is thumbnail design and video editing, with whatever money they do make. And then that makes it effective and efficient. And then it starts to eventually make enough money for them to quit their 9 to 5 job. Usually, though, not because of AdSense, but usually because they can get the channel to a place to where they can get sponsors. So going back to the presentation here, here's something you guys need to know to set realistic expectations when it comes to your YouTube channel. The majority of people you watch might be big YouTubers, but the majority of people are not big YouTubers. I got these numbers from both Mario Juice and who used to work for Mr. Beast's team as a strategist, runs his own strategy company now, and also aggregating data from Social Blade. And these numbers were in one of my previous presentations. These numbers probably have gotten worse over time, but I think this was my presentation last year. And the overwhelming majority of creators never get to 10,000 subscribers. Less than 10% of creators, 9% of creators never get 10,000 subscribers. Less than 2% ever get 50,000 subscribers. Less than 1% ever get 100,000 or a silver play button. 0.808% ever get 1 million subscribers, and 0.003 ever hit 10 million. If you had delusions of grandeur of being famous, those are the things I can stomp out right now. It's enough to be successful. We don't need to be famous. Some of you may be the exception to that rule, but it's actually very, very difficult to do it. If you have more going on, this is mostly people who go all in on YouTube and have nothing else in their life, at least at the time that they want to succeed. 90% of videos on YouTube, about 88% according to 9to5google.com, don't even get 1,000 views on YouTube. But the reason is the majority of YouTube content uploaded is low effort content. It's inconsistent in the upload frequency. There's not a clear value proposition for the viewer, and they also tend to have a low quality viewer experience. So that would be the reason why most content is just bad. You don't have to worry about YouTube being saturated. It's only saturated with one thing, the mediocre majority. Low effort, low value content that is low consistency and is of low quality. So in order to make sure that we succeed on YouTube and that we also are approaching YouTube in a reasonable way going forward, we need to actually find our Ikigai. This is our inner balance. This is our purpose. This is our reason for being. This is why we wake up in the morning. Ikigai comes from the Japanese philosophy of reason for being. So while most people will tell you to follow your passion, that's bad advice. At least it's bad advice if you want to do this full time and you don't want to hate yourself and you don't want to feel trapped. Following your passion is a bad idea. You want to turn your passion into profit. That means you can't follow your passion. You have to align your passion to a higher purpose, and you need to define that. And so what you need to do is you need to find what you are passionate about that you're actually good at. Because being passionate about something and having no skill, no ability to create value for other people will not work. Being passionate about something and sucking at it is not enough to get people to care. So you can be passionate, you can work your little heart out, but if you suck, it does not matter. So you have to develop skills. And so the intersectionality of your passion and your skills will be your mastery. So that will be very important. Okay, but here's the thing. If you like something and you're good at it, but it doesn't create value that other people want, well, you're not going to get any attention, right? And then if people don't care, it's going to be hard to make money. If you have something that people are interested in and you're passionate about it, but you're bad at it, you also can't make money. And if you can't make money, your life doesn't get better. So it wouldn't do any good to have a big audience, be good at something, be passionate about it, but not be able to make money, because everyone will be getting value except for you. And that's what happens to people and why they burn out. They burn out because they work hard and everybody else wins except for them, and they don't get the things that they want out of life. This happens in corporate America, and this happens to creatives. So you have to figure out, is there something I'm passionate about that I'm also good at? And is there a market for that? And then how does that make money? This is what we call market fit. It's very important for you to find your market fit. So, what are my passions and skills? How does that create value for people? Well, who does that create value for? Who is the audience avatar for that? Who's the market for that? Who does that appeal to? And then where do those people put their money? How do those people support the thing that they're passionate about? And why will they support me? So it'd be important for you to learn and understand that if your ultimate goal is to be able to do this full time, because if you don't have the ability to grow an audience because the thing you're passionate about is not something people care about or care about the same way as you're going to have a problem. If you can't make money to sustain doing this content, to be able to do it effectively, to be able to maybe even leave the 9 to 5 job, or to be able to improve the content in any way, then that's not good either. So this does have to make money. I don't think it's appropriate for YouTubers to claim that they don't care about money. If you don't care about money, then you don't care about making better content, because you do live in a capitalist society. You do have to figure out how you're going to reinvest back into your channel, how you're going to hire help for your channel, how you're going to pay the people that work for you a good wage so that they can have a good life. So you don't get, as far as I'm concerned, if you want to be a full-time content creator, you don't get to let the words "I don't care about money" come out of your mouth, and you don't get to pretend that you're too good to care about money. I guess if you're under 20, you can play that card because you're young enough and naive enough that you'll grow up and sell out anyway. So that's just how I feel about it. I think if you're over 30, you know better. Now, with all of that in mind, I said that to succeed, you have to have high quality content that people will enjoy and keep watching. You need high effort, high value content for people to pay attention to you and to stand out and to make your content hard to duplicate. And then I think you need high consistency, because you do want people coming back, and you do want people to ultimately be able to see your content as something that's worth watching over and over again or worth coming back for. So this is where you want to live. If videos clearly are high effort and high value, they're going to get more click-through rates. They're going to get more people to pay attention to them, because we do not know that a video is high quality until we click on it. So when people say quality, they often are conflating quality and value, and they're also conflating quality with effort, and they're not the same thing. Quality is an experience that we have. I'm going to give you an example of this to make it easier for you guys to understand, because a lot of creators don't like that I separate quality and value, but I'm going to explain to you. You could think of quality as an experience worth sticking around for. And you could think of value as why you're interested or attracted in the first place. That's why value is usually more about packaging, things like the title and thumbnail. Effort often is about how the title and thumbnail convey effort in an idea, conveys something like social proof, for example, or status that would be hard to do. Oh, that's really interesting. That's really hard to do. That's really scary. That's really challenging. Oh, wow. What, looking at that person doing that, that would give me anxiety. Or, oh my God, did they really pull that off? So high effort content. High effort content is we survived living in a volcano for 72 hours. That's high effort content, right? Um, what's another one? Um, how many drones does it take to fly us off the ground? That's high effort content, right? Um, I built this app in 3 days and made $10,000. That's high effort content, right? If you're being a programmer and building an app in 72 hours is already hard enough. Building an app in 72 hours and generating 10K in revenue, that's really hard. So that's status, social proof, that's high effort, right? That's only conveyed by topic, title, thumbnail, timing. Okay. Um, I became the first person to master this character in Brawl Stars. That is, I became the Clash Royale world champion this season. That's high effort content. It's also high value content, all off of packaging. We do not know how good the video is before we click on it. To bring this to real life, watch this. Value in real life is when you see somebody and they're attractive, they're well dressed, they are in a location that is very or a place that requires some prestige or status to get into. They are on a boat, they have a boat, they have a yacht. That's someone that says, okay, that person has a lot of utility. That person has a lot of value. That person has a lot of status, utility, so on and so forth. So that's a high value individual, right? But they might be a bad person. They can still be high value and be low character. So they're a high value person, but they're a low quality individual. So a high value person might be someone who has money, career, job, status, network, opportunities, a lot of attractive things that would make someone interested, excited, attracted to them. But then that person, they let that person open their mouth and instantly they become the most unattractive person in the world because they're a low quality, low character individual. The same thing is true with a video. A video can have this great topic, great title, great thumbnail, be super relevant, be very exciting, and then you click on it, the audio is garbage. Wow, you click on it, the person on camera has no energy. You click on it, the video's blurry, and not in a good way. You click on it, the lighting is terrible, the camera's shaking all over the place, the story is incoherent, it's poorly edited. That's a low quality experience. It's like, I don't want to keep watching this. I don't want to stick around. A good quality experience, you stick around for forever. A good quality live stream, you watch it for 2 hours, right? A good movie, you watch it for 4 hours without a bathroom break. Take the bathroom break. But you get my point. Quality is an experience worth sticking around for. Value just attracts you and makes you interested. So that's the difference. Now, effort plays a role in the fact that effort can be a proxy for your assumption about value or quality. So seeing someone attempt something very difficult implies quality and value. So when you see spectacle content like what Mr. Beast makes, you assume that it'll be a good video, not just because of its packaging, but because the very idea of doing that and then posting about it is just so outrageous and so it's too good to ignore, so to speak. It's too good to ignore. So high effort content is when you make a video where you, even without being Mr. Beast, get a world record, right? An example of high effort content would be like Cassie Aaron, right? Cassie Aaron, where it's high effort because you drive through the entire state of Florida in a toy car, or you roller skate across the entire state of Florida on rollerblades. Those are high effort things because normal people would not imagine that they can make that effort. And even a copycat competitor would look at that and say, that's too hard. I'll do something else. Even if you went viral, they'd go, oh, that's too hard. I'll do something else. So that makes the content less duplicatable. High effort makes content more unique. More unique content stands out. Now, what about high consistency? High consistency could be based on your niche or it could be in general. So there's a lot that goes into that. Thank you, Jack Morgan, for the $9 super chat, $9.99 super chat. Jack Morgan says, appreciate all the game you've given us over the years. Thanks, dude. Appreciate you. Thank you. Super chats are always welcome. Now, what I'll say is there's things that you could prioritize here. I think you should always try to prioritize high value content in terms of packaging, of topic, title, thumbnail, timing. And then if you had to choose between any of these, if you have high value content and high consistency, you will make a lot of money. The best example of this right now is the commentary YouTubers doing social commentary, news, and politics. They don't have the most high quality edited footage in the world. They don't do storytelling. They don't do spectacle. They do none of those things. but the value of the news, information, the commentary, the personality, their perspective, their point of view, the tribe that they're bringing to the table here, where people can have their views validated or debated, or that people can hate watch them, whatever it is, that value proposition is strong enough to get them a click and to retain people off of rip. The quality doesn't have to be absurd there. And there's a different threshold of quality that's acceptable quality for news, commentary, and things of that nature. The threshold of quality that you have to hit to be excellent there is much lower. So that's more maintainable. So the more valuable thing there would be consistency. And that would actually make that person more money. They would never make more money with higher quality. They would never make more money with higher quality. In some cases, they would only make money on higher effort if higher effort is they got to break a news story, or they got a leak, or they got an exclusive interview. Then that would raise the high effort standard for commentary, news, and so on and so forth. Same thing for info content. Info content, it's better to have value and volume, so high value and high consistency. Quality only needs to meet the threshold of the niche, and then you can incrementally improve over time. It will not be nearly as important, and you won't make any more money. You can make the quality 10x better. You will not make 10x more money. You won't even make 2x more money. It'll be marginal. So if you're doing info content, news, commentary, you even something like tutorials, you're doing anything of that nature, higher and higher levels of quality. As long as you meet the acceptable threshold of quality, higher quality will not save you. It will not make you more money. It will not get you more views. Those are niches where consistency would matter more. If you're doing vlogging, if you're doing storytelling, if you're doing spectacle, if you're an entertainer, then high effort and high quality would matter more than high consistency, but the packaging still has to be damn good to attract people. So when you look at what is the threshold of quality, look at your niche. If it's news, commentary, information, talking head, all you need is good lights, good audio, good video quality. Could be iPhone video quality as long as it's good microphones. And for that, just get something like the DJI Mic Mini, and good lighting. Good lighting doesn't have to be that expensive. As long as you have that, the most important thing will be your topic, title, thumbnail, and timing. That's it. If you are doing things like, let's say you're an art channel like Art Attack, Beanie Draws, Jazza, whatever, that will be more about your topic, title, thumbnail, timing on packaging until you have a cult audience that loves you. Then it'll be a skill level issue in terms of the quality of retaining people and bringing people back. Quality for you will not even be video production or editing or any of that. It will be the skill that you bring to the table in doing your artwork. For DIY crafters, it'll be a little bit similar, so on and so forth. So there are different things for different niches in this Venn diagram that will become more or less important just depending on what content you are making. But the most important things that will matter for views overall, views will be driven first by having high value in terms of topic, title, thumbnail, timing, packaging. It's dressed to impress. It's being able to attract the audience you want. So looking good matters. Just literally having a video that at a glance is attractive will be the most important thing. I promise you, it'll be the most important thing. The next thing that determines this is if you are doing entertainment, effort conveyed by what the title is, effort conveyed in the title, the topic, and the thumbnail would matter a lot more for entertainment channels. So then that becomes those spectacle videos, like we broke a Guinness World Record. It'd be Pat Flynn with Deep Pocket Monster and the Pokemon channel of, complete this Pokemon set or lose everything in 24 hours. That's a high effort content, and the packaging is superb. So it needs those things to win. It does not have to be daily uploads. It can be weekly. It could be, twice a month uploads, and that would win. And that one will also usually, for his content, it's some of the highest quality content. So the thing is, it prioritizes what it needs to as an entertainment channel. Now, if this was an information channel, let's say that you were doing tech videos. Let's say you were doing tech videos and you're in the tech niche. It would matter a lot more to probably, you don't necessarily need high effort, but it can help. It certainly can help. But it's rare or more expensive in tech to do high effort because you won't have access to all the tools early or the products. You won't get the products early. So if you're a small creator, unless you have an in, that could help you. So that's an issue. Or if you're not willing to like crack open or cut open something like Jerry Rig Everything from Zach from Jerry Rig Everything, that's high effort. If you're not willing to do a 50-foot drop test, if you're not Jenna Izirak, you're not willing to do an underwater test for the new iPhone by doing diving into a pool or swimming with sharks, that's high effort, right? So if you're not willing to do that in tech, and it's too expensive because effort is usually either you have to have money, you have to have absurd levels of skill, money, and or time to do higher effort content. So unless your lifestyle or expertise or background gives you that advantage, that's very hard to compete on. So we have a question. Do you think that you should follow your passion or follow the money? Neither. You should follow your strengths. You should pay to your strengths. If you want to make money, but you suck, it doesn't matter. If you try to follow money, but you can't deliver, you suck, it doesn't matter. So you could care about money all you want. If you can't deliver, you can't perform, you're not talented enough, chasing money wouldn't matter because you still suck, so you can't make money. And then, oh, you're passionate about, you love it, but you suck. No one cares. No one likes a loser. So it still doesn't matter. So what's the answer? You can't follow your passion and you can't follow profit. So how do you turn passion into profit if you can't follow either? You follow your strengths. You do what you're good at. You do what you're good at. If you're good at something, whether you're passionate about it or not, people will care because people like a winner and people like someone who delivers for them. People want someone to create value for them. Value for them. They don't care if you're having a good time, to be honest. They care about whether you're delivering for them. They care about whether you're value for them. No one cares about whether, I hate to tell you this, no one cares that a singer, dancer, rapper, or comedian is depressed. You all really don't care. You care that they're funny. You care that they sing well. You care that they perform for you and that they showed up to the concert you paid for. You don't really care about their feelings. You don't care about how hard their life is. You don't care about what's going on with their family. You really don't. And that sounds really harsh. It sounds really like bad for me to say, but I'm telling you the truth about the world so that you're not surprised later and so that you don't romanticize your own creator experience. So the thing is, you actually don't care if people are passionate about something. You care if that passion is strong enough to make them become an A player so that you don't have to watch your third best option, fifth best option, because you don't really want to watch your third or fifth best option. You don't want your 10th choice. You want someone who's an A player and you want someone to bring value to the table. You want your number one or number two pick. And the reason you care theoretically about their passion is if their passion translates to them working hard enough to get good so that you get a good experience, so that you get value out of them. If they're passionate and they're a D player, they're D-lister, you don't care that they're passionate. You really don't. That's as brutal, straightforward honesty as you're going to get. I'm not here to waste your time, and I'm not here to coddle you, and I'm not here to make you feel good. I'm here to help you not suck. I'm here to get you good. I'm here to get you playing the game at the best level you can. And the truth is, you shouldn't follow profit or passion. You should follow your strengths. And the thing is, you need passion in many cases to stay motivated, because if you're very good at something but you don't like it, it's hard to get better at it if you feel like you're suffering or not enjoying the process. So what you need to be passionate about, in my view, is really two things. You need to be passionate about the people you serve. You need to be passionate about your tribe. You need to be passionate about your community. You need to realize that a niche is not a prison. I tell you to niche down because a niche is not a prison. You're not picking a topic that you're in love with or a topic that you think will make money. You're picking a topic because a community that you want to be a part of, people you want to show up for, people who share your interest mentally and your values emotionally, like-minded people with your interest, like-hearted people with your values, they care about these 5 things. So you're going to talk about those 5 things because as long as you talk about those 5 things, you get to be in a room with those people and enjoy their company. And that's what you're going to pick. So in terms of, but here's the catch. It only matters if you, when you're in those people's company, have the skills to deliver value for them. The most important one being a good communicator and being able to deliver great communication with confidence and charisma. So, when you show up in a room of like-minded, like-hearted people who share your interest and your values, you have to be able to communicate well to them, or they will not see you as part of the tribe or see you as valuable and able to contribute. And the way that you do that and you impress those people and then ultimately become the leader of the tribe and become their leader is you do that with excellent communication, clarity, charisma, and confidence. You bring those things to the table, and the thing is, it helps if you have a burning passion to serve those people, you'll get good at things that give them more value. And if you're able to do all of that, if you're able to have confidence, charisma, clarity, great communication, you're able to create a skill gap between you and them and have all this value. And they understand that you're passionate about what they are, but also in the same way. You're passionate, have the same interest, but you have the same values, you care the same way. Then that creates the trust that is necessary because now they know who you are. They like you because you're charismatic and charming. And now, because you're a great communicator and you deliver all this clarity, you bring all this value, they trust you. That's who they spend their money with. They know you, they like you, they trust you, you create value, you deliver, you keep your word, profit follows. So the thing is, you don't follow your passion, you don't follow profit, you play to your strengths, and you pick a community of people that those strengths serve. And so you find the people that you're passionate about. A niche is not a prison. A niche is a community of people you're passionate about showing up for and that you can create value for. People you're excited to be around, people that will allow you to be consistent because it hurts more to not be around them and show up for them than it does to have anxiety about how well you're performing. So, yeah, if you chose passion, and let's say you had a group of people you were passionate about the same thing, but you don't have the same values, you don't like it the same way, now you're stuck. You're stuck with people that disagree with you about everything. So that'd be bad. Here's another situation. You choose something for money that you don't like. So now you feel stuck. You don't like the money. You may not like the people. You may not even be good at this thing. You're always feeling insecure. You're always feeling mediocre. See, what I've described to you and given you guys with the Ikigai framework and what I was talking about, it lets you escape imposter syndrome. It lets you escape burnout. It lets you have the right balance as a creator. If you can say, I really like these people and we're passionate about the same thing in the same way. And I'm really good at doing this thing that they're not necessarily great at. So they really appreciate having someone like me around a lot and they respect me and value me and the thing that I bring to the table enough to pay what I ask. That's the situation you want. You will not be burning out that way. You won't burn out that way. You won't be getting bored anytime soon. And you'll be having a good time if you can create that scenario. That's your goal as a content creator. And that's the way to do it. And that's what I consider to be a niche. We'll be doing an updated video about how to find your niche in 2025 because I think it's a message that people need. I think this is the message that people need in order to succeed as a content creator. The other reason you want to niche down is with you doing this, it means that every returning viewer is stronger. It makes it easier to grow views, grow subscribers, easy to get people to support you. It makes it easy to align to brand partners that have your value system because now you can flag brands and say, it's not about how much money you pay me. It's about whether you and my audience have the same values and we have the same respect there. And it's about whether or not you're a good fit for my audience and you're good for my community and my tribe. So then that becomes one of your filters. And the other one is, does my tribe already know you, like you, and trust you? And the thing is, if they don't know you, well, why not? How do you create value for them? Okay. Why should I trust you? Okay. And what is it that you create in value that they'll absolutely love? That becomes a better filter for your brand deals. So this is why it makes more sense to take this approach to niching down, because it's a decision that's based on having much more clarity about who you are, who the audience are, and why they should watch. It all becomes much clearer, much faster. And it addresses imposter syndrome. If you are good at something, less imposter syndrome. If you like something enough, it may not be your number one passion, it might be your number three passion, but it might be your top tier skill. If you're a number one A player at something, but you're only third level passionate about it, that's still better, because you're passionate enough to get good and great at it and become a master. And you won't have imposter syndrome if that's the case. And then if you have a community of like-minded and like-hearted people that share interest and values, they're going to reinforce that aspect of your identity. They're going to see your value, acknowledge your value, validate you more. You will have much less imposter syndrome in that situation as well. And then because you are enjoying what you're doing, but more importantly, you're excited around the people that you get to meet and be around and engage with, the burnout's not going to really happen there. As long as your burnout may not happen there are other things in your life that could go wrong that can make you depressed. There are things you could be doing wrong with your health that will cause you to be physically exhausted. But mental emotional burnout, no. If you're excited and you're in love with your audience, you like the thing you do well enough, but you're also really good at it, it validates you, and then people respect you enough to pay for it, burnout's not happening there. Imposter syndrome's not happening there. You are validated way too much by reality for that to be the case. And by that I mean, when I say it won't happen, I'm talking in the majority, the overwhelming majority. There's some outlier situation where it could still happen, obviously. People are unique individuals, but usually if you're winning that much and imposter syndrome keeps up, therapy, therapy. But for most people, the cure for their ills in life is more winning. More winning solves most problems. So again, this is what we need to stand out. We need high effort content, harder to duplicate, harder to compete with. Now, if you're a small creator, sometimes there are barriers to you making higher effort content, especially if you're a working class creator, you got a 9 to 5 job. Do not worry about having to lead with high effort content. When people say, oh, make high quality content, they are conflating too many of these things. If you work 40 hours a week, you don't have the energy or time or resources most of the time to make high effort content. However, if you are really talented and really good at something, very experienced, you can create high value content, and the packaging can be better. And I would put more of your energy into the packaging of that thing, and the idea behind it. You can make acceptable quality content, and then I would just try to be more consistent, at least 2 to 3 videos a week. And if you want a good example of that, that's Ali Abdaal with his content. Now, again, for entertainers, you might be struggling with this more, but the version of this for entertainers is much more in the commentary space and in the gaming space. That leans a little bit more to content. If I was a gamer and I've coached gamers, I'm coaching 10 of them right now. That kind of content, the answer for gamers, if you guys really want to answer for gamers, is how could people that are new to the game enjoy my content, and why would they watch is much more important than anything else. Because the largest base for any game is usually going to be onboarding. For games to survive, they have to onboard new players. Active players probably already watching somebody that you'd want to compete with. Your best bet to break out is to onboard new players and be their first experience of enjoying content around that game. If you can do that, then you have the better chance of winning, because people are starting with you and they might feel closer to you. If they go and they engage with a bigger creator in that same game, they're going to get ignored. So you have to understand what they might value is connection and community, and somebody being welcoming to new players. So that would be more valuable to them. So when we talk about the audience and we talk about audience avatar, the creator who understands their audience is the creator who will win. If there's a creator, no matter how talented, charming, charismatic, whatever they are, if they alienate their audience, they really like crap the bed on reading the room, they will lose to a creator who's less talented, less money, less everything, that understands the audience better, because they will be more attractive to that audience. Because again, someone who's better looking but treats you badly will not keep your attention. Somebody who may not be as attractive but is really fun to be around, they can grow on you. So keep that in mind when it comes to this. If you're worried about competing with other creators, the best thing you can do is be a better experience and be somebody who understands the audience and makes that very clear and has a better experience, a better community, a better culture in your community, more welcoming. There are all kinds of things. You have to understand what your audience values more and what they value most. Now, I said that editing isn't the most important thing. There are audiences for whom editing is the most important thing. But maybe if that's not your skill, you don't try to win those people over because you're setting yourself up to lose. Maybe you focus on being more attractive to people who don't value that. So understand, hey, who's my audience? If my audience is younger, then here are things that appeal to them and I should do that. If my audience is older, maybe I should appeal to these things. Maybe these things are different. If you have an older audience, you don't have to edit as much. If your audience is under 25, they grew up watching YouTubers and being used to like editing, maybe that's the case. If they're well under 20, maybe that's the case. For gameplay videos, you may not need to edit as much for gameplay. I coach gamers, and it depends. If you're a competitive game player, if you are somebody that is ladder pushing in Clash Royale, if you like Juicy J, who I've coached, if you are somebody like maybe you're big in Brawl Stars like Corey or Ashlyn or OJ or something, then guess what? You may not need to edit as much, because what if the answer is that, hey, um, I don't edit so that you can see I'm not cheating at the game. Or hey, I live stream more and you can watch my gameplay and see that I'm actually really good and that I can ladder push in real time. Or hey, I'm going for a world record here. Watch me do it live. There's a value proposition to that. So understand what your audience's preferences are, because watch this. Some audiences, they don't need you to edit. They don't have that preference. Older audiences don't prefer editing. You know why we know that? The way they watch podcast debates, they watch live streams, they watch a lot of content that is much more, let's say, streamlined in a more made for TV fashion that does not require fancy editing. Fancy, high paced, hyper editing, that's a Mr. Beast audience. That's little kids. That's little kids, lower attention spans, need it. Kids, teenagers, they have different preferences. Once you're over 20, 25, you don't need the TikTok brain rot anymore. So you don't care about the high paced editing after 25, in my experience. Definitely not after 30. If your audience is after 30, they'll need a high-paced editing experience. You literally are catering to people under 25 if you're worrying about editing that way. I'll give you a primary example. Casey Neistat's videos were some of the least edited videos on YouTube. They were produced more than they were edited. It wasn't editing. Casey was production. Casey was personality. Casey was performance. Casey was planning. That's what worked. But it's preferences. Now, he had a broad appeal, but people could age into Casey's content and they wouldn't miss the lack of editing that they see with other YouTubers. Ryan Trahan's videos aren't even crazy editing. His stuff is more made for TV. So I would argue that you need to shoot for the edit in most cases. You don't overthink the editing. And my philosophy of editing is a minimalistic approach to editing. Editing is supposed to remove distractions, errors, and omissions. And what it's supposed to do is add context, add value, and enhance what's already there. So that's what editing's supposed to do. Editing is supposed to enhance what's already there. Crap in, crap out. Gold in, gold out. Editing should be polishing a gem. It did not attempt to turn lead into gold. Editing should be, just listen to what I said. Editing should be polishing an uncut gem that needs some polish, it needs some cutting, needs some finishing, but it's a gem. It had value. It was raw. The raw material was already impressive. The raw material was already impressive. It was already good raw material, but now I'm just going to cut this down and refine it, polish it, remove some blemishes so that it can bring out the best in it and make sure that it looks the most attractive it can be. It's not alchemy. We're not here to try to engage in the sorcery of turning lead into gold or turning crap. We're not here to turn horse crap into honey cakes or to convince you that it is. We're not here to do that sorcery. We're here to just do craftsmanship, and we're here to polish a gem. That is my philosophy of editing. So yeah, it's a less is more aspect. And I think that it is incredibly powerful and compelling because think about it like this. A good story can draw you in. And think about the greatest films of all time. The greatest films of all time had very, very little editing. World according to Briggs, good to see you, my friend. If I edit too much or too good, they get turned off. My audience is 75% over 40. Well, there you go. There's Mr. According to World according to Briggs himself sitting there telling you how it is. So when you think about that, there's some nuances here. If your channel is an animation channel, if your channel is an animation channel, it's going to require work. And I wouldn't necessarily the animation is the editing. The animation is actually the production. So it might use editing tools, but it's really more about your producing, your crafting, you're generating that. So again, keep audience preferences in mind, but also keep audience challenges in mind. Does your audience have very specific challenges? This could be not only for how-to content, but even with regard to certain types of content. Hey, if I make this content a certain way, does it make it harder for my audience to consume? If I do my brand deal with this company, does that create a challenge for my audience that keeps them from being able to buy this, afford this, do that? So keep the challenges that your audience has in mind. If I drop this product or merch, how much of my audience could reasonably buy this, use this, get value out of it? What would it put them in a bad position? So think about that. Then also think about the psychology of your audience and what would appeal to them based on their psychographics. So demographics is age, location, gender, geography, but psychographics would have more to do with maybe their lifestyle, and more to do with certain values they might have and ways that they might feel about things or ways they see the world. So, for example, if you're a politics channel, are you a partisan? Are you left? Are you right? Or are you holding down the radical center? Those are things that create different psychological profiles in the audience. If your audience is also someone who is tech savvy, then they might resent you dumbing certain things down. If your goal is to help people who aren't tech savvy still enjoy the tech that they have, then you have to keep that psychology in mind, and you have to make sure that you're not using jargon that alienates them or makes them feel insecure or stupid or feels like you're talking down to them. So it's those type of things. So you have to look at the psychological profile of the audience. You have to look at the age, demographics, location, gender, all of those things. You have to look at the challenges that your audience has, and you have to look at what their preferences are. And the person who understands their audience better wins. Now, if you're like, well, Roberto, I watch a bunch of big YouTubers that don't seem like they care about any of this. You have to remember, some people are naturals and are gifted and intuitive and are people persons or extroverts. This is autopilot for them. Some of us, by that I mean me, some of them have to learn and think about this stuff and can't read the room for crap. Like, we had to train ourselves to read a room, and we have to sit there and crunch it in our ADHD brain and like sit there like Rain Man to be able to compute human. Right? And that's just how it is for some people. Other people, they show up, They've got it locked in, dialed in. They're a people person, they're a mover, shaker, and everything like that. They're Mr. or Mrs. God's gift, and that's how it is. And those people, when they come to social media, they take off, they shoot up, they're winning, they're killing it, and you can't compare yourself to them if that's not who you are. Some people are introverted, some people are extroverted. There are advantages and disadvantages to both. There are some people who can adjust and learn and adapt to a style that allows them to be successful for who they are and what their personality is. There are some people whom this makes more attractive. There are some people this makes less attractive. It is what it is. Play to your strengths. Don't try to be something that you're not. Try to be the best that you can be. So, next slide here. YouTube goals and milestones. I've outlined basically what I think are the important ones because I think after you get to your first $5,000 a month, you're already on the way to being full time in most cases by there. And so I break this down into the milestones and goals that you should kind of keep in mind for yourself. I can't necessarily say for sure what my first $500 month was because it depends on what I'm measuring. If I take all revenue streams, it's still hard to remember. It was so long ago for me, but I do remember that like the second month I started doing Amazon affiliate, the first month I made $12. The second month I made about $600. And again, the difference was I just had more time to learn the system and I was in the tech and tutorial space. So, referring the hardware like made me more money per commission. So like to make $500 when it's like camera gear and laptops is like maybe only needing 10, 15, 20 people at most to buy anything. So not very hard in Amazon Associates, Amazon influencer program if you were in the tech niche. Be harder if you're in the beauty niche, the products are cheaper, things like that. But if you are in the tech niche, if you might be in the home repair niche, the Amazon influencer program will make you a lot of money because of that. So that would be an advantage that some niches have over others with affiliate marketing. So for me, I made my money besides clients. That's how I made my money. For me, Amazon influencer within 6 months went to about 1,200 a month. I was in North Carolina, so rent on a three-bedroom house in North Carolina at the time was about 960. You could even get places like that for like 7 or 800 back then, but mine was like 960. So Amazon influencer could pay rent and utilities off of those sales commissions because to get to that, you probably need about 30, 40 commissions if you're in tech, as long as the tech is expensive enough. So again, laptops and cameras, mostly laptops and cameras. So that's what worked for me. That's how I made my money at the early stages of YouTube. Now, with ad revenue back then, things were a lot worse. We had more, like you could argue, oh, there was less competition in the old days of YouTube. Yeah, but there was less money too. Ad revenue was 1/10 of what it is. Ad revenue was 10% of what it is today. I swear to you. If it wasn't for videos being viral back then, gamers would not have been able to survive. They were only able to survive because they were getting most of the views on YouTube. But ad revenue was that bad. So what happened for me is eventually, sure, I was able to get to $1,000 months eventually. I was able to get to $5,000 months eventually, but I needed over 100,000 subscribers to do that. That would not be the case today at all because now, depending on what niche you're in, ad revenue pays better and you don't need as many views to accomplish the same thing. If I had the peak views I had when I was daily today, I'd be making $10,000 a month in ad revenue because of high RPM niche. Because back then I was doing like 600, 800,000 views a month back then, but I was posting every day. I was posting every day. That's why I was doing that. If I was doing that now, that's why I say for the ad revenue I make, why it would be that high. That's not a humble brag. Now, there are other means of doing that. For most creators, it's brand deals and sponsorships. That's still true for me. Or you can run a business like how I run awesomecreatoracademy.com. You could sell products, merchandise. There's a lot of ways to do that. You could sell ebooks. ebooks are actually really good because that's almost like a guaranteed way to have a 10 or $15 RPM, because to have a 10 to $15 RPM, if you have a book, you only need to sell 2 books per 1,000 views, and then all you'd have to do is make sure you promote your book in your videos. So like having a book is a way to have a 10 to $15 RPM right there because of sales. Digital products also do something similar and get you a higher RPM because you only need one person out of 1,000 to buy, and then the money's really good and it's digital, so you keep like all of it. But yeah, subscribers. I got to 10,000 subscribers in about 11 months, uploading twice a week. Duplicated that to 20,000, still uploading twice a week. Went daily and jumped from 20,000 to 100,000 in 14 months. And this was in the early days of YouTube for me, 2013 through 2016. So 3 years, 3 years to go from 0 to 100,000 subscribers, but 3 years and 800 videos to do that. 800 videos. So, the truth of the 800 videos, though, is back then I was learning just like all of you. If I'd been strategic in the way that I'm going to be teaching you over the next 12 weeks, I probably wouldn't need 800 videos to do it. I probably would have needed less than half of that, with the 20% of those giving me almost all the views and almost all the subscribers. If I'd been able to learn how to be strategic back then, but I didn't have a mentor and we didn't have all the data that we have because old YouTube did not give you click-through rates and analytics. It didn't give you click-through rates. It didn't give you any of the data that you guys get today. So YouTube was wildly different back then. We had to guess at everything. We had no data on click-through rates until 2018, 2019. So we had to rough it. So here's something that I think is important for a lot of you in terms of speed. If you're a working class content creator who works a 9 to 5 job, editing is the most painful and time consuming part of your creator workflow and your schedule. Most of you as working class content creators only have 10 hours to 20 hours a week to spend making your content. And the majority of that is going to be eaten up by editing, which is why a lot of you don't feel that you can put out a video every week or even 2 videos a week or whatever, because the editing is taking so long. The average for most of you, it takes you 5 to 15 hours to edit one video and then not get many views. And that's why a lot of you burn out. This is basically the set of skills that any creator needs to know in order to successfully edit their content and to effectively edit their content. So, to succeed with that is going to be really important for a lot of you, but you need to be fast and efficient. And this is all you really need to do. If you're doing too much more than this, then it's a little bit to some degree trying too hard at a point where it's not fruitful to do. What I would recommend for most of you is to set aside a weekend or two for a month and try to spend 10 to 20 hours learning and mastering the basics of your video editing software. And learning and master your video editing software is knowing how to do each of these things. So importing and organizing your footage, doing your selects and your cuts to build a story, knowing how to color correct and then color grade, learning sound design, mixing and adding background music, learning how to add motion graphics and titles, learning basic transitions. If you can learn how to make that second nature in your video editing, then you and master those things and know how all of them work and know the shortcuts for doing them, when to do them and why to do them. If you spend 10 to 20 hours practicing, learning, and mastering your video editing software, then you will be able to work more efficiently, more effectively, and to be more successful. History with Dan Sterner says, is it better for a small YouTuber to do 1 or 2 15-minute videos a week or 3 or more 6-minute videos? So I understand the question, but you're asking the wrong thing. I understand the question, you know, is it Dan? But the question itself is flawed. So here's why the question itself is flawed. It's because you're assuming that there's a trade-off when there's not. There also, it comes down to what goal are you trying to accomplish. I have a very unpopular point of view. In general, whether you're talking about long form or short form, do you know what overwhelmingly, if your goal was to be a larger YouTuber, if you guys' goal is to be a 100,000 subscriber YouTuber, and you are making videos regardless of length that have a good enough quality and people like you and like your personality, which is the most important part here, if people like you, like your personality, and want to support you, and you've made videos that are good enough to get people to subscribe to you, if your videos are good enough to get people to subscribe to you, and you have a video that you've made that gets 100 people, 500 people to subscribe to that because of that one video, the best thing you could do is make more videos like that, not make those videos even better. The thing that will move the needle the most for you is more videos that people like. It doesn't matter how long they are. You guys are asking the wrong question. You're prioritizing the wrong thing. It's not about, do I make 3 shorter videos or 1 longer video? It is, what video did I make and why did people subscribe to that video more than other videos? What was it about that video that did that for them? Was it even just because I asked them after delivering value 2 or 3 minutes into the video to subscribe? That usually does it. Or if you're like me and you live stream and you make it subscribers only to be in the chat and they have to subscribe because you hold them hostage, then yeah. But if you give people an incentive and a reason to subscribe and they actually agree with that incentive and they want to do it, you do realize the most productive thing you could do is give people more of what they want. It is supply and demand. If people said, we enjoyed this, your best bet is, if they enjoyed that, YouTube knows who those people are. They know what those people are. They know how to find more. YouTube knows how to find more people like that. I should make more content like that for more people like that that will want to subscribe and support me. And that is the thing you would do that would grow your YouTube channel the most, because you'd have so much content to feed the tribe of people that are attracted to that content. If you attract your tribe, they'll subscribe. If you attract your tribe, if you just attract your tribe, they'll subscribe. Every time you upload a video, it doesn't go to people who subscribe to you. It doesn't go to people who already watched it most of the time. Every single one of you here, 50 to 80% of every view you've gotten on almost every video you've ever uploaded was from non-subscribed people, and at least 30 to 50% of all of your views, if you got any views, wasn't from returning viewers, it was from new viewers. The biggest growth opportunity is new people, and every upload is new people watching. Some of you are way, way too obsessed with the idea of your subscribers watching. YouTube doesn't even work that way. YouTube hasn't worked that way since 2015. Probably 2013 specifically, but it's probably 2015 with the algorithm change for the YouTube Channel 1 initiative. But my point is that you guys are living in a dream world of how YouTube used to be in the PewDiePie days. That YouTube is dead. We killed it a long time ago. The current version of YouTube is about new audience members and new audience growth, and YouTube itself, when you upload a video, will show your video to 50 to 80% of people who've never watched your video and never subscribed to you. The best thing you could do is win those people over and have a good first impression with them, be a good first date, and get them addicted to you and get them to subscribe. Attract your tribe and get them to subscribe is the only thing you really need to know. So that means make a really good title, topic, thumbnail, and make the video enjoyable, engaging, have value for the viewer, quality experience, get them to subscribe, get them to repeat watch, get them to share the content, recruit for the tribe, bring more people in, turn those new viewers, those casual viewers, into subscribers, turn the subscribers into super fans that support you with their wallet and not just their eyeballs. I've literally given you the entire playbook to succeed on YouTube. The details, the devil's in the details, and that's execution. It's execution. But the thesis of YouTube, the theory of YouTube success that you need to understand is to attract your tribe, convince them to subscribe, and then make them recruit. That's it. Attract your tribe, get them to subscribe, and then they grow the tribe by recruiting. That's it. And how do you attract the tribe? Topic, title, thumbnail, and timing. What is attractive, interesting, exciting to this group of people exclusively? Great. I got them in the door. I attracted them. I excited them. They got me at a glance. I got them from across the room, got them at a glance. Okay, cool. Now I have 8 seconds in the hook to open my mouth and not screw this up. Fantastic. I passed the 8-second test. They crap tested me. I passed with flying covers. I passed the sniff test. Passed the sniff test. They know I'm not full of crap. I didn't lose them in 8 seconds by opening my mouth and now becoming unattractive. Fantastic. Now I have to keep them entertained and retained and excited and delighted. And now I have to win a second, third, fourth, and fifth engagement and get them to commit to me. That's a relationship with your audience that you just built. You don't get the relationship with the audience by not being interesting, exciting, attractive, and something that is then delivering a great experience. Worth repeating. This is not complicated. We make it much more complicated by saying algorithm, but it's not complicated. You could win without the algorithm if you literally just got people in the door, even if you had to bring them in yourself and did this process. Whether an algorithm in YouTube exists, you could do this just hand to mouth and grow organically by getting and building a loyal tribe and cult following and then getting them to recruit into the cult. And I'm saying it in that way to animate and excite you and to get it through your head that that's what it is. It's tribe. It's just attracting your tribe. You could do that whether an algorithm existed or not. You could do it. You could do it hand to mouth. You could do it hand to mouth. If you were really, really about it, you can make a YouTube video, not worry about the algorithm, literally go to a mall in America, roll up on 500 strangers, get them to click on a video on their phone because you were charming, charismatic, and capable of cold approaching people like that, being the ultimate salesperson for yourself, and you could get 500 subscribers, like 500 people in a day. Maybe not all of them convert to subscribers, but you could get 50 people in a day, and you could do that every day in the streets of America. I'm not suggesting you do that. I'm just making a point that you could do that without an algorithm, and you could go out and you could go and beat the streets and recruit 50 to 100 people to subscribe to your channel every day if you had the charisma to do it without an algorithm. And if you did that, you'd be getting 100 a day, 3,000 subscribers a month. You'd be a 100K YouTuber in 3 years exactly. If you were about it with no algorithm. If you were about it. Y'all ain't about it. Y'all won't even beat the streets of the internet and do that. You will not hand recruit 100 people a day in the internet streets to get them to subscribe to your channel. You really won't do it in real life. So that's why you rely on an algorithm to do your work for you. But if you were the ultimate salesperson and you were about it and you had that kind of charisma, you wouldn't even need an algorithm. You could still be a 100,000 subscribed YouTuber without an algorithm. You would have to just be that good and be that aggressive, and you could do it. So we have an algorithm that will pull people in for us and will recruit for us. So what we have to do is, if the algorithm is putting us in front of people, we have to dress the part and we have to be attractive at a glance. And attractive at a glance is done in the topic. Hey, I'm interested in that or not. That filters you for tribe. I'm part of that tribe or I'm not. I'm pro or against this. So that's topic filter. Title filter is how well that's conveyed. Thumbnail, well, I gotta see you from across there at a glance and go, oh, that's interesting. What's that about? Who's that about? Ooh, that's looking good. And it's got to filter past all the other options. That's your key. It's got to filter past the other options. So now, I got it. Now I clicked on the video. You've got 8 seconds to pass the sniff test and for me to see if you're full of crap and to see if I want to continue or I'm walking away. So do you pass the sniff test or not? That's called your hook. It's the 8 seconds you have to prove that you were worth the click and that this was not a mistake. I was really interested in this, but you screwed it up. You opened your mouth and became unattractive. Oh, I'm out. So that's the deal. So with that in mind, it's not that I'm being dismissive of your question. It's that it's the wrong framing and it's the wrong mindset to the problem that you're trying to solve. The thing that matters the most is having content that is in demand and desirable for an audience and having a value proposition that will make someone want to be a member of your tribe and want to commit to you. And the thing is, the catalog of your content to some degree dictates that, because it's not going to usually be one video. You have to win them on one video, and one video won't do it. You have to get them to watch a second, third, fourth, and fifth video usually to get them to subscribe. And that means you have to keep consistently catering to what will appeal to them, what they'll be going to be looking for, whether it's in search, what's going to appeal to them the most on the YouTube homepage, what's going to appeal to them most when the algorithm pushes it in a next up video. You have to be able to catch their attention over and over and over again. And you have to know what excites, surprises, and delights them, and what they're attracted to and interested and excited by. You have to keep supplying that and keep supplying that over and over again. And then you have to win them over and you have to convince them. And then you have to also convince them to recruit. And that would be the way that you would succeed. And that would be the way you would grow. And that would be organic growth. And that would be with or without an algorithm. And so that's the deal. Now, here's who's winning on that right now. It's the YouTube Shorts creators. The YouTube Shorts creators are absolutely killing it and beating everybody, and then that's why they grow as much. And the thing is, it's valid. A lot of people don't think Shorts creators are valid, but they're valid because they understand that game. And you have to remember, what Shorts creators are doing now with 1 to 3 minute videos is all old YouTube was all old YouTube was. Now, how long should your videos be? Your videos should be as long as they need to be to accomplish the goal that you have for them and the value that you want to deliver to the audience. And people will watch any length of video. People watch any length of video. Every single length of video has succeeded on YouTube. There was a creator, she'd never gotten hardly any views before. She got like hundreds of thousands of views on a 7-hour video because she spent an entire video dissecting the relationship between Benson and Stabler from Law and Order SVU. She broke down every single season about their will they, won't they relationship. And a lot of people who've been fans of the show for over 20 years watched and rewatched areas and sections of that video and watched that 7-minute video. Jenny Nicholson, she does a lot of like Star Wars content. All of her videos are 4 hours long and people watch every bit of them and rewatch them. Every single length of video has won on YouTube at some point. It does not matter. Now, what does matter is, can you deliver value per minute for the entire length of your content, or does it get stale after X amount of time? Same thing for streaming. Can you maintain that energy? Now, something overlooked in content creation is sound design. Sound design and audio quality are some of the most important aspects of your video content. So when it comes to this, you want to prioritize audio correction, and that's going to be really important. Then you want to make sure that you're cutting your dialogue and monologue to tell the story that you need to tell. Then you want to lay down your music track, your music bed is the background music. You want to balance that. You may or may not want to add atmospheric noise. It depends on whether you're doing an interview or whether you're doing something cinematic or not. Then, of course, there's sound effects that might be good for visual cues. And then there's sound mixing and EQ so that these things don't overpower each other or get muddy. And that's what you need to know about your sound design workflow. And this would be the breakdown. And I think that doing this helps your retention more than you might realize. This would help your retention more than visual editing. If you focused on just good production and cutting for a good story, just cutting everything, cutting the fluff from your videos. If you just cut the fluff from your videos and then you did good audio correction and sound design, that would be enough to carry the entire video without a single visual effect, zoom edit, or anything. Which is also why podcasts are winning right now. Video podcasts are winning for exactly this reason. So if you prioritize this, this would win with retention. And yes, YouTube does reprocess some of the sound when it's uploaded. They do have something about this in their about section. But they're trying to create some kind of experience so that people aren't startled by loud sounds or something like that. So it's worth looking into if you're an audiophile, if you're a music head, you might want to look into that. So the workflow for motion graphics, this is one of the most simple things to do in YouTube to make yourself look fancy, but it's actually not very complicated to do animated motion text. It just makes your videos look fancier than they actually are. You do not have to spend a lot of time on this, if I'm being honest, but motion text is very easy to do, and most modern video editing software has plugins for this or automated um, tools for this where you just make the text whatever you want. So that's not very difficult. Animated graphics can be a little more challenging if you want to use custom graphics or PNGs in your videos. You'll have to learn how to do that in your software with keyframes usually. And then there is, of course, advanced animation, which is, in my opinion, the best way to do it is if you don't want to learn Adobe After Effects, then for Premiere Pro users, you're going to use Mogart files for the motion templates. I use these to animate my graphs and charts. They just come pre-made, and I put in my data and change my colors, and it's very simple to do. So Premiere Pro for the win. I'm a big Adobe fan. Transitions, we know what those look like. I mean, I even do them here when it comes to switching cameras. Simple wipe transition is my favorite. You have wipe transitions. Some people prefer fade transitions instead of wipes. Me, obviously, I like wipes. Some people do push transitions, so that'd be more like this. Some people prefer dip to black, and then that's more, or dip to black or dip to white. Some people prefer crossfades. I can do this with switching on my hardware. So I have hardware switches that allow me to do this during a live stream. So it's almost as good as an edit. And so I just have physical keys. I have an ATEM Mini Pro to do that here at my desk. I have another one in my streaming desk in the basement, so on and so forth. So that works. Some of you will use OBS and have that rigged up in something like an Elgato Stream Deck. I have the pedal here. For me, the pedal actually just turns my lights on and off, and it does some other things. So I have that. But transitions, very basic, very simple to accomplish, but can be very engaging in videos. For a lot of you, because of the new YouTube monetization policy with mid-rolls, I'm actually even going to suggest that you utilize transitions without necessarily using sound to help you have more natural ad breaks and pauses in your videos so you can earn more money from them. So I think that would be important. Also, just real quick housekeeping. How are you all enjoying the workshop tonight? Are you guys finding value in this workshop? Let me know in the live chat. Let me know in the comments if you're watching the replay of this video. We try to make sure that you guys get as much value from all of this as possible and that you're genuinely learning as we go along. So are you getting value? That's what's most important here. Also, want to take the opportunity to remind you that you can get my book, which also helps a lot if you are a content creator who's trying to grow. Check out my book, Create Something Awesome. It is linked in the description. You can find it in Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Target, and everywhere that books are sold. I worked very hard on this. It's a pretty thick book, actually. And it has a lot of great quality information for creators of any and all sizes. A lot of positive reviews over in Amazon, so make sure you check that out. It's linked in the description. This is going to help you if you're on the road to trying to, establish this as a side hustle or a full-time content creator. But I hope you guys are really getting value from these workshops. We plan to do these every week for the next 12 weeks on Wednesdays. As long as nothing is going on in my world that's too crazy and I'm not on a flight or something, we're going to show up and we're going to try to do these on Wednesdays. So yeah, a lot of people hearing shocked that all this value is free. Yeah, we also have a free course. We have a free course. I plan to sell paid courses here in the near future, but we have a more than 4-hour free course called the Creator Foundations course. That is linked in the description down below. Mods, can we get a link to the Creator Foundations course in the chat for them? That's over at Awesome Creator Academy. It's a 4-hour course, plus as a bonus, 90-minute monetization masterclass that I performed as a physical live in-person workshop and event. That event is no longer active. So we gave you the entire 90-minute live workshop that I did in person in Buffalo, New York, as a 90-minute masterclass as a bonus in the free Creator Foundations course. Now, that Creator Foundations course is free as in $0, but it also has a pay what you want, pay what you can opportunity, to where if you want to donate $5 to me, $2 to me for giving away the course, or because I've ever created value for you here and you wanted to donate $2 or $5, the difference between that and super chats is when you donate through the Creator Foundations course, I actually keep all of it, versus when we do YouTube, YouTube takes their 30% and then Apple takes their 30% and then the IRS takes their 20%. So the best way to make sure you're supporting me is to either buy one of our great products from Awesome Creator Academy. We even have some $9 products for you that are underpriced, like the AI creator prompts for ChatGPT. We give you 200 prompts for ChatGPT for $9 there. And we have the free Creator Foundations course where you can donate whatever amount you like, $0 all the way up to $5, $50, whatever you want to do. We appreciate it. But that definitely supports what we're doing here on the channel. And it also encourages more of the free workshops like this for the people who can't afford anything yet. Can't afford anything yet. I expect when you get monetized, though, we'll be talking. So that's what we're doing over here. And I really enjoy doing this. I think that the creator economy is the future. I think that content creators are the future. And what I believe is that colleges will try to adopt this and they will not be able to do it justice because they've never created YouTube channels. They will try to just take marketing without the nuance of YouTube and knowing social media and applying it, and it will not serve creators. But someone will be able to finally tell their parents, hey, I got a degree in content creation, please let me do it. My goal is to create real education and to change that. And I don't feel I'm competing with my fellow YouTube educators. I see more of myself competing with traditional education and the college system when it comes to this, and getting ahead of them in the fact that I want to create a night school or community college experience for content creators. And this workshop is kind of one of those next level executions that I want to do, is with these 12 workshops and keep them up free forever here on the channel. We eventually want to not only move past giving you the slides, which we give you for free. You can get the slide presentation for free by giving your email. There's a link down below for that. Mods, can we get that link in the chat for them to get the slide presentation so you can get these PDFs? It does sign you up for our email list, so just be aware of that. We do not spam you, but we do try to make you aware of the offers we have. We try to get you some great free information and resources so you can get the slides by doing that. And we also eventually, I'm planning to release workbooks that can help you take your notes and help you organize it, that are made exclusively for content creators. We'll eventually have those up on Amazon. We will have a workbook that allows you to map out your ideas, allow you to brainstorm, allow you to whiteboard more, allow you to create a vision board for creators and help you organize it. So it's not going to be just like a blank notebook thing. It's going to have actual guidance and structure to help you organize your thoughts. Because what I found for content creators is we look at screens too much. We look at screens too much. And the thing is, we can actually be more creative and get our ideas out when we write them down. And also when we sketch certain things and when we storyboard for our thumbnails, it actually helps us a lot more. And sometimes we're just looking way too much at a screen and it's sapping our creativity and it's making us less productive instead of more. So that's something we plan to do in the future, is actually release a workbook that can help creators with their ideation by letting them actually write things down and organize them properly and make their own notes and also plan their ideas and sketch their thumbnails. So we think that that's going to actually be really important. So, just letting you know that those are things coming down the pipeline and those are ways to support. And again, I hope you guys are getting a lot from the workshop here. But yeah, speaking of design, brand design and aesthetics, this one is actually really important. This actually helps your channel a lot. You should be thinking about these after you realize that your niche is not a prison. You have to remember what I said about dressing to impress and to attracting your tribe. And so you have to think about things when you think about your audience avatar. Hey, what's the colors that are going to work for this audience and what do they like? A trick that I tell people is to sometimes pick for color palettes. If you want stuff to look good, look at how sports teams do their color palettes. The market research was done for you. Look at sports teams for color combinations. That can be really helpful. And also with typography, we try to help you guys understand which fonts look good on YouTube thumbnails and how to do thumbnail design and alignment. We actually did a full free workshop on thumbnail design. I can show you real quick something that helps you understand fonts and placement. So this would be for like a Stoicism faceless YouTube channel. And there are some simple rules that are followed for these thumbnails. For example, using 3 lines and usually not more with very few exceptions is the most we usually use. Look at the use of color blocking for the most important word that stands out or evokes emotion. Look at the visual balance and that we figured out that hey, there are times when it's better to put things for example on the left. Look at how if we decide we're going to put something on the bottom, look at how we accomplish that. Look at how we try to avoid using more than 2 words unless they're very short words like a or as or in. And how we do that, we tend to avoid doing more than 3 lines of text. We want people to be able to scan this, but if it's a small amount of words, we can scan this. Now, I did billboards for a living when I worked in advertising. And so I am a trained graphic designer. I did not get a 4-year degree in college, but I am a professional graphic designer who did billboards in New York for sports entertainment, Times Square. I worked on things like the Bradley Closey fight, the Khan Madonna fight, the Margarita Pacquiao fight. I did stuff with Big Ten Network, Big Ten Icons. We also did some non-sport stuff with, you know, um, some of the networks related to MSG, which is Madison Square Garden. But we also did stuff with like WeTV and AMC as well, Rainbow Media. So we did that. But what I learned as a graphic designer was the importance of typography and text and doing lockups for text and also understanding color blocking, placement, and visual spacing. So these work for a faceless channel because of the placement of the text, the understanding of, hey, try to only use 2 words unless they're very short words on a single line. Try to only use 2 to 3 lines. Make it easy for someone to scan at a glance. If they could see it coming down the highway, they'll see it glancing through their phone, scrolling through their phone. That's what we want to think about. These would also look good, though, if they were thumbnails on someone's TV, because we know that TV is a growing format for YouTube. So we want to also keep that in mind. Placement. Look at how, if it doesn't make sense to do this on the left or right, if the main image is more attractive to have visually centered, then let's go ahead and put the text at the bottom and center it. Let's go ahead and mostly have our text left to right. A lot of you mess up your text and you just decide to center align your text. It looks much better left to right in most cases. If your text was on the right-hand side, though, it would look better right to left. So just keep that in mind. And so this just gives us a basic understanding of how to approach this well. Now, the other thing is in terms of choosing our fonts, choosing something in this case like Poppins Bold is actually really good for us, but you could do a couple other fonts that would still work, like Bebas New in bold could still work. But if you do Bebas New in bold, this is a font that goes taller instead of wider. So what we'd have to do is we'd have to make this font literally several times bigger to get it to work. Then we have to do line spacing to get it to work. And then it's still strong. Still strong, very visually appealing, very masculine. We could probably make this bigger, even bigger. bigger, and it'll work and it'll be more impactful. And that's the difference between choosing Bebes New instead of Poppins. But because of how this font presents, we need strong drop shadows to make this work as well. And we're going to increase the size and spread on that to make it pop and stand out. And there we go. So now this makes this a strong thumbnail from that. If we wanted to, we can also make this just a little bit smaller, put a little bit more space in between it because of how those drop shadows work. And then now we can do what's called kerning. We can actually loosen up the space in between the letters. And there we have it. And that's a very, very strong thumbnail. This is what I mean about packaging. This is what I mean about understanding our audience and what would attract them and understanding the right skills. The right skills for this are graphic design and understanding how to do that. Now, another thing we can do with our graphic design skills, and I've done a whole free workshop on this. If you want to watch our previous workshop on thumbnails, that is live on the channel, and we will do another one here in this series. But watch this. I'm going to make this a little bit brighter by using Photoshop's blend mode of soft light and a white brush at 30% opacity to lighten this area. And then, oh, all of a sudden, that looks a lot better, much more attractive because I did that. And so this is kind of a before and after. Still looks great. That looks a little bit better. And if I want to tone this down, I can just pull the fill or opacity down by about 60% if I felt that was too harsh. Boom. Instantly better. But this is a skill that I learned over time and mastered for years and did commercial work for to get expertise and confidence and to learn from other people. And you'd have to usually spend time in college or working on the job to get the skill and to learn how to apply it. Then you'd have to learn to apply it in the context of YouTube. What I've done though is I've done some 3 and 4 hour workshops here on the channel on teaching you this skill for free. For free, you can learn this skill. The other thing we've done is we've created templates like this for you that you can modify in Photoshop or using the free tool called Adobe Express, and you can get a lot of our templates in the YouTube starter kit. You get 99. So, well, no, I joke. It's over 100, but we charge $99 for it. But it's over 100 Photoshop files like this in the YouTube starter kit. If the mods could link to the YouTube starter kit over at awesomecreatoracademy.com, that'd be great. But the work has been done for you, and then you can modify your thumbnails, change out your photography, your images, your text, your colors, your branding. And I only bring this up to show you guys that design and aesthetics are something that enhance everything you do for YouTube, and they're part of your packaging and part of what gets you clicks on videos. And it's very, very important. And it's one of the more important aspects of content creation that a lot of people, it's a skill set that people don't bother to focus on improving. So if you're going to improve on any skill set, this would definitely be an important one to focus on. So that's something I wanted you guys to know about. Next slide is tools and automation. So I know some people are anti-AI, but AI is actually really great for content creators if you use it correctly. And you want to probably use Adobe's Podcast Enhance Audio because it cleans up the audio of your videos and it will make the audio sound cleaner. When you use the Audio Enhance tool from Adobe, which is free, by the way, You will want to acknowledge that it does mono channel audio. You will want to convert that to stereo before you finish committing to it in your project. So that's actually extremely important. But basically, with one click, you can clean up the audio and improve it, like make it 5, 10 times better. So you do want to look at that. Some of you could be using Descript to improve your audio and your editing workflow for AI to cut out all of your pauses and all of your dead air. I think that Gling AI is actually good and it's better. So you could use Gling AI for that. For generating thumbnail backgrounds, when you want textures, you want this, you want that, you can use Adobe Firefly or Midjourney. Some of them can be good if you need to also figure out how to pose for your own thumbnails. So again, that's another way you could use the AI tools. I know a lot of people are anti-AI art, but you could actually use AI art to figure out how to pose for your thumbnails, because for a lot of you, you're awkward, and knowing how to pose and how to look, if you see someone else do it, you'll know how your thumbnail should look, and you could just pose properly and know what to do with your arms and your arm placement, and that would really help a lot of you, or even your eye direction. For some of you, it could actually even help with lighting. For a lot of the female creators in the audience, it could actually help with inspiring aesthetics, lighting, wardrobe, and makeup. So that actually could be really good. Photoshop could also help you with not only removing the backgrounds, but enhancing the image considerably, or sharpening an image. There are tools to increase the resolution. So I would look into that. For helping you not write the full scripts, but for writing hooks, fixing your titles, making them more concise, using active voice, things like that, ChatGPT and Claude AI would be really good. For some of you, Opus Clip will be fantastic for repurposing your content to YouTube Shorts, TikTok, Instagram, Reels, all of the things, X. So I would highly recommend that. Sora Video and Google Veo have some interesting applications. I don't think you should try to use them to make completely faceless content, but I do think they have really interesting applications for bringing concepts to life that would be impossible for you to film on a budget. So for working class content creators, I think that some of you, the B-roll you could make with Google Veo and Sora Video, the B-roll you could make with that would help supplement something you are physically unable to do for any number of reasons. Maybe you have a disability, or it could be that there's something that logistically is impossible for you to film on location, or you don't have the budget, and you could generate it with that because you just need that 2 seconds, and there's not a stock video that you can find that will work. So that could be just very valuable to do. So I think that there's justification for it. So these will help you with workflow a lot in terms of proper tools. Here's something else to consider with regard to your productivity as a content creator, especially as a working class content creator who might have limited time. This is my model for productivity. So we delegate and outsource things that are important or urgent to us, but that we are bad at or we don't enjoy. If you don't enjoy it and you're not good at it, but it needs to get done or should get done, you should probably just delegate it to someone else. Just get somebody else to do it. If you don't like it, you're not good at it, but it needs to get done, give it to somebody else. Delegate it, outsource it, hire someone else. If it's not urgent or important, get rid of it. Eliminate that. If it is important but not urgent, if it's important but not urgent, and it does not require a human touch, you should automate it. If it is important but not urgent, and it requires human judgment, you should make systems around it so that you can duplicate what's working and so that anyone can take your place. If it is important but not urgent, you should create a system so that you can duplicate yourself and somebody that needs to put a human touch to this can do it the way that you would do it, the way you would want it done. So that's where you should make systems where you duplicate. So delegate anything that is urgent and important that you are not good at or that you do not like. Eliminate something if it is not urgent or important. If it is something that is important but not urgent, and it does not require human touch or human judgment, automate it. If it is important but not urgent and it does require a human touch, build systems so that somebody else can do it the way you would want it done. And so I think that this is one of the more important and overlooked things that I've almost never seen content creators talk about or teach is the concept of prioritization and productivity. I've almost never seen any other creator educator talk about this and talk about why these things matter and when to do them. And that's why I wanted to make sure that they end up here. So that's something that I felt was important. Action items for all creators in 2025. So I think that in 2025 to succeed as a content creator, especially on YouTube, that one of the most important things you can do is build systems and streamline your task. I think we need to embrace AI tools and automation. I think that recurring, reliable, stable revenue is important to become a full-time content creator because I think that ad revenue just becomes less and less reliable as time goes on. I just think that's the direction things are going. So I think things like memberships become important, subscription models, recurring long-term brand deals, UGC content, selling digital and physical products, doing licensing deals and syndication deals for content, NIL deals. I think that all of that becomes one of the most important things. Um, then it would be important for everybody to do. So that's something that we can't take for granted is the revenue side. Growing your email newsletter. Platforms are great. I want to grow my newsletter to 100,000 subscribers because I want access to all of you without an algorithm. I want access to you without an algorithm. In the description, we have links to the PDF slides here so that I can get access to you without an algorithm and that you guys can do that. We also have the free email course, and we also have the free Creator Foundations course so that I can get access to you without an algorithm. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get 100,000 of you on my email list because I do not want an algorithm deciding when and when I cannot see or talk to you guys or hear from you guys. So that's why email lists are important because they're permissionless access to your audience. Even if you're an entertainer, you should figure this out. If you're an entertainer, find a way to give something away in terms of potential contest or raffle to get emails. If you're an entertainer, sell merch through Shopify or something else or Spreadshop, get people from that and you have their email because you had to fulfill the order and make a profile. Fantastic. Sell them merchandise, sell them bloody sticker packs for all I care, sell them a bookmark, just get them on the bloody list, even if you're an entertainer, so that God forbid a platform decides to mess with you, you don't have to start over and you have access to your audience. You don't have to start from zero. So I think that that's something more people need to pay attention to. Be platform agnostic. Be willing to be on any platform that is willing to monetize you and give you access to an audience for the most part. Embrace video content in general goes without saying. Adopt short form video strategy. I have a short form video plan, but we're going to prioritize Instagram for my short form videos. I bought some more gear to augment my phone for perfect audio, stabilization, lighting. And when I do my walks in the morning, I'm going to film short form content, and it's mostly going to be my Instagram. So it's going to be my Instagram stories and my Instagram reels for a lot of that. And it's going to be more content to motivate you and also to give you guys more advice, but also talk about the importance of consistency, talk a little bit about the realities of the business side, managing your mental health as a content creator. I think that my Instagram is going to end up being a lot of the personal development side of being a content creator and really thinking about the mental health side, being a professional, building your relationships, telling you how to network, teaching you to be a better speaker. I think that that's what my Instagram content is going to become over time. I would like to get from 24,000 to 100,000 on Instagram. So what's the answer? Do what I did on YouTube, make 1,000 videos. That's probably the answer. So we're going to be doing more of that on Instagram if you want to follow me over there. So I'm going to be doing my short form strategy there. Some version of that will come to find its way on YouTube. We'll figure that out later. Use live streaming for connection with your audience. I think that this is a great example. We are on 6 different platforms right now: Facebook, LinkedIn Live, YouTube Live, Twitch.com, X.com, Kick.com, and it builds connection. We have 450 people across 6 platforms. I believe we have over 100 of you live watching on YouTube, and we have almost 500 of you across all the other platforms. So, multi-streaming is incredibly valuable. Build a private membership. Probably the most important monetization opportunity of 2025 is going to be memberships, and then it's going to probably be UGC. I think UGC and memberships are the big ones. I'm building a course right now that I'm going to be selling. It's going to be an over $500 course around brand deals. It is literally going to be the easiest course anyone ever made their money back on, because brand deals are the main way you become a full-time content creator. You will literally make your money back the first time you get a brand deal and then some for the rest of your career. So that one's easy. Membership websites and subscriptions are complicated. There's an influencer version of it, and there's a thought leader version of it. I plan to make a course around memberships eventually. Um, we succeeded heavily with the membership around Awesome Creator Academy, and it's been doing well for about 7 years now. So I do actually know what I'm talking about when it comes to memberships. The membership for Awesome Creator Academy currently, I believe, brings in about $6,000 a month in revenue that's reliable, and growing. So I think that a lot of people could supplement their income and get to 5,000 extra in income over a period of time if they prioritized memberships, but not just memberships on YouTube and Twitch where they take 30 to 50% of your revenue from you, and then Apple takes another 30%, and the IRS takes their 20. I think that if you build your own membership platform, even as an entertainer, there are ways to make it worthwhile to your audience and to show them that that's a good way to support you and that it's effective. I think there are ways to do that. I don't think a lot of people focus on it because they like their social media numbers. It's also really convenient just to use YouTube or Twitch. But when you realize just how much of your revenue, when you realize how much of your revenue ends up getting eaten up by the platforms, it really becomes less attractive. I'm going to be honest with you. So, yeah, that's the deal. I think the other thing is you have to create irresistible offers. I think you have to make everything a no-brainer for the audience. I think it has to be such good value that it's not about how much it costs, it's about how can I afford it. And I think that that's hard on a lot of people, especially if you have a younger audience. I think that the hardest people that this applies to is I think gamers have a hard time with this. That's why I tell gamers that as long as they're not doing a faceless gaming channel, they should build a lifestyle tech brand on Instagram and also port some of that to their content on TikTok so that people like them for their personality. I also tell them they should become a streamer, because if you are a gamer, the answer is build a lifestyle brand outside of YouTube and Twitch so that people like you outside of gaming. And so that you can attract people. If you're a guy, for example, I mean, this I'll tell you the female version of this. If you're a guy and you are not a faceless gamer, One, in general, I think you should also try to live a really good and interesting and attractive lifestyle. And you should get healthy, you should get fit, you should get jacked, you should do all the things. But I think that if you have a men's lifestyle brand on Instagram and TikTok, where outside of your gaming, they see you living a really cool life, they see your like really cool house or man cave and all your gadgets and tech, people could want to buy those things. So tech brands can sponsor you. Also, you could do an Amazon affiliate link stuff. And then there's also things they might want to buy from you. If they also see that you're living a really good or interesting life, then there's other things they'd buy from you directly or personally because they'd be like, man, it's so cool that you get to live this life. Tell me more about this. Or, oh, I have interest outside of gaming. Hey, how do I live a better life? How do I live my best life? There is that aspect. I'm not telling you to become a lifestyle guru. I'm telling you to become a lifestyle brand. And so what a lifestyle brand is with that, you could be somebody that's aspirational in the sense that you live this lifestyle where you got to do the things that you care about, chase your dreams. And so what that would look like for a lot of people is them getting to see that you get to travel and that you also get to go to these gaming events and that you travel, you go to PAX East, you do that stuff. But then also you travel outside of gaming and you just have fun and get away from screens. And then you're like, hey, I'm traveling. I went to Puerto Rico. I do this, I do that. Then that's something interesting. And there's more things to the you now besides gaming. The reason you do this is because now, ding, 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 if you have a personal brand and a lifestyle brand and you have a men's lifestyle brand, you get to launch a podcast that has nothing to do with gaming that your gaming audience will be attracted to because now you're bridging the gap between their actual experiences in the real world outside of gaming. You get to talk to them about IRL things now with a lifestyle brand and tying that to your podcast as an entertainer. So the answer is be an entertainer on YouTube and Twitch, launch a lifestyle brand around your lifestyle and personality on Instagram and TikTok that bridges the gap of some of your audience as they age up into a podcast where you get to have more mature conversations and they can be more invested in you and the guests that you bring on. And this expands your network and your opportunities. So you get to network with people outside of the niche of gaming. So as you grow up and you progress, you're in the rooms with more affluent, intelligent people that you can learn from. You're getting a big network. You're getting more opportunities. You also get sponsorships and brand deals for that. So that's the answer. There is another version of this, by the way, that you could do as a musician to grow your brand if you were passionate about music, but I digress. Another version of it is it could, instead of being the podcast, it could be vlogs, but I would recommend the podcast because it's more profitable and it's lower lift than vlogs. But you could do vlogs, and that's another version of it. And this also works on the female side of going from being a female gamer or streamer or vlogger to having the personal brand in Instagram and TikTok, and then using that as a pipeline to either a podcast or a singing career. And so that's the business model. We will talk more about the business models in the other workshops. We have 12 of them on deck. They've already been pre-scheduled. If you go to my YouTube channel and you go to the live tab in YouTube, you will see the workshops have been scheduled over the next 12 weeks and that they all have their own topics and themes. I'm just bringing this up, so that people can, understand the bigger picture surrounding content creation and why these things would all matter. And someone is saying, you know, like there is, if you expand into lifestyle, there's always something to buy. If you expand into lifestyle, there's always something to buy because there is consumerism tied to that. And you can work with brands either on user generated content, UGC for their social media platforms, or brand deals where you promote something on your platform, or you can do a co-branded product where they make a your version of something. So there's all kinds of opportunities. There's licensing opportunities. Your vlogs, if you do vlogs, could then also be syndicated if you make them as almost made for TV vlogs or made for streaming vlogs, like Ray and Trahan does, like other people do, like Cassie Aaron does, all these people, then you have this opportunity with that entertainment content to license and syndicate it to a streaming platform like Amazon Prime, for example, in the future, because that's actually happening. So there's that adventure content, blah, blah, blah. There's all kinds of business models. We'll get into the business stuff, but this is actually how I work with creators. I help creators figure out how to expand their brand opportunities, how to work with sponsors, how to look at other monetization models, how they translate and say, hey, how do I evolve if I'm outgrowing or I'm aging out of my niche? How do I bring my audience with me if I'm aging out of the content? Well, here's the next evolution of your content. So this is where the expansion becomes, you know, and I love what someone here in the chat is saying. It goes from being we are the niche to we are the brand. Exactly. Instead of we are the niche, my philosophy is no, you're not the niche, but you are the brand. Instead of, oh, I am the niche. No, 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 you're the brand. And that's the difference. The niche is the audience, as far as I'm concerned. As far as I'm concerned, the niche is the audience. The niche is the community. The niche is the tribe. The niche is the tribe, as far as I'm concerned. But us, we're the brand. We're the brand. So that's the answer. So that's kind of what I want your mindset to be. Big picture is understanding how do you build a career and a brand to last? And how do you evolve as a content creator? And how do you properly monetize? How do you grow your reach? We're going to focus on that with the packaging, the value, the content strategy. That's reach, reputation. That's building the brand. The reputation is building the brand and building your network. And then revenue. That's monetization. And that's practicality, and it's the diversifying our revenue streams, our income portfolio. And so that's what our focus is. This is why I teach an Awesome Creator Academy. Like I said, even for me, my lifestyle brand is going to move to a component of motivation, mindset, and personal development. Mine is personal development, it's motivation, it's books, it's that sort of thing. It's also lifestyle and about what life is like as you get into your 40s and things evolve and change there. 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I bought this house. I'm a homeowner, turning 41 this year. Working out. I'm actually in some ways younger than I was in my 30s because I'm working out and getting mad healthy. Um, you know, my metabolic age is now 5 years younger than I actually am. Like that's good news. So there's all these things you can do. And for me, my personal brand on Instagram and so on is going to be more reflective of the personal development side of what I do for myself as a content creator who's in his 40s. How do I live? What's next for me? What am I doing? How did I overcome my struggles? How did I overcome my background? How did I go from broke to six figures? What am I doing with my life? How am I prioritizing travel? How am I prioritizing experiences, friends, family, all these things? So that is what the Instagram personal brand would be, because then that's a larger investment in me personally. And then there's a lifestyle brand component to that because I'm a tech guy and I'm a photographer. Even as a hobby, I'm a photographer and I like to do wildlife, nature, drones, and I do all that stuff, landscapes. So then there's that personal investment component, but there's also brand deals to be had from that. I could work with camera companies, I could work with travel companies. So there's that. There's public speaking to be gained outside of content creation for motivational speaking or personal development. So there's a brand expansion that comes from the personal brand side using another platform in a different way instead of just duplicating what I'm doing on YouTube and only repurposing my YouTube content to Instagram. Moving in a different direction as a thought leader on Instagram expands the opportunities for monetization, networking, relationships, and brand sponsorships. So it grows the income portfolio as a different asset class. So look at your platforms, your channels, your profiles, look at them as individual assets and think about how you could leverage them effectively. Think of them all as prime digital real estate. And some of them are better opportunities than others because of the neighborhood they put you in and the people they put you around. So again, think of them as real estate. I'm on all the social medias. Let's go to a little bit of Q&A. It's been great hanging out with you guys for a little over 2 hours here. We can go to Q&A and get to a lot of the chat here. Happy to do that and to see what you guys are up to in the chat. Now, by the way, I would say that for commentary, here's the thing. If you do news, commentary, politics on YouTube and streaming and all that good stuff, personal brand about you living your values on Instagram and on TikTok. So, an example of this would be if you went into politics as a commentator like Brett Cooper, for example. Brett Cooper is one of the most successful women in politics and social commentary. And she doesn't just do politics, she does social commentary. Guess what? A personal brand for her on Instagram where she shows her life, shows what it's like to be a young, married Gen Z woman. There's so much opportunity for her. Her fan base gets to love her and feel more connected to her personally and see their self and their values reflected in her. She can work with brands that share her values. It's a very smart long-term play for her. And so that makes perfect sense to be much more relatable and approachable in that way and accessible to the audience in that way. And so you could be very strong there. There is a different path for another type of thought leader. For example, there's a type of thought leader who would go and they would do commentary and do stuff, and then they'd post on X, and X would be more about their writing, their expression, free speech, and then that could also be them building a network and building themselves a higher profile, and that would be practical to be on X for that reason, to express in that way and to cultivate more attention. X is great to grow your email list. For example, you can grow your email list off of your writing and your thought leadership and your opinions, very much your opinions, your strong opinions there on X. If you were a photographer, obviously you want to use Instagram, but you could also use X, and you could use X and Instagram as a pipeline for people to make your imagery more well-known and viral in other platforms like Reddit. Because then if you build a strong audience and community, a bunch of them start sharing something organically in Reddit, well, now you're known. So, but if you don't have a community and a strong base in Instagram, TikTok, or X, those things are pipelines to Reddit to get mass scale internet attention. If I was a photographer that was focused on growing my photography and my notoriety, then that's what I would be doing. So, it's that sort of thing. LinkedIn. LinkedIn can be incredibly powerful if you're a thought leader. It works better if you're a writer or a public speaker, and it can be definitely a status play. LinkedIn is also where your connections for money are. Status in LinkedIn is just 10,000 followers. 10,000 followers. I think I'm at 13,000 or something like that. Been there for a while. 10,000 followers is killing it in LinkedIn. 5,000 followers is killing it in LinkedIn. LinkedIn is great if you are a podcaster, public speaker, writer, author. Great for that. Fantastic. Great if you're a consultant as well. Great if you're a consultant. Those would be really good. It's a good place for connections. Also, a good place to research and verify workers and employees at the companies you want to pitch for your brand deals. We'll talk about that obviously in one of the other workshops on monetization down the road. But specifically, you really want to use LinkedIn to research people you want opportunities from at a professional level. And that includes the people in the right positions that work at brands that can sponsor you. Connect with them and research them in LinkedIn. Even if you're an entertainer, you don't just post your entertainment content on LinkedIn. You present yourself as the owner of a media company that makes this entertainment style content, but you're a media company, and what you post there is about how you're killing it in your business, how you grew your business, how you grew your audience. You post that sort of thing in LinkedIn. You post some case studies of, hey, I worked with a great brand, we had this great deal, and they said it generated so much more business for them. Or, hey, this brand put me on a billboard, here's what happened. You put that in LinkedIn to attract opportunities to you. In LinkedIn, that's where you go as an entertainer, that is an entrepreneur, and you show the entrepreneur side, not the entertainment side. You show you're smart and savvy instead of fun and goofy. So that's what would matter when it comes to that. And I do have a presentation at some point that does talk about the different platforms and their benefits. And one of the things I try to do in Awesome Creator Academy is, while we have a heavy YouTube focus in Awesome Creator Academy and the pro group, one of the things that we do, and by the way, mods, when you're posting the links for anything, you always need to put like a dash and a space after the thing, because the chat uh throws it together and makes a weird link that people can't click on. So to make a link people can click on, mods, you always have to do a dash and double space before you post a link. So thank you, Mod Squad. Appreciate y'all. But the thing that works when it comes to different platforms, and one of the things we teach in Awesome Creator Academy, is to be platform agnostic. It sounds more exhausting than it actually is, but it's really not. Take me, multi-stream across all my platforms for the live streaming part. Fantastic. I can clip short form and farm that out of the live streams. Sure, that's great. But then all I have to do is, if I want to write something profound, I copy and paste that interesting thing that I wrote and even the photo that went along with it. It takes all of 5 minutes, and that's it, to post 3 different thoughtful posts and set up timing for them on X, LinkedIn, Threads, Facebook, same thing. What do I prioritize if I do that, though? In my case, I'm prioritizing something that lets me sell something, or grows my email list, or generates awareness of something I sell or my email list, or is a text, graphic, and or screenshot or quote that promotes my book, or gets people to know that I have a scheduled YouTube video or podcast interview coming out. I'm thoughtful. I'm not going to post for no good reason. There is a strategy. If I'm taking the time to communicate something, I'm communicating something that is valuable to me and valuable to the audience. I'm thoughtful about that. If you're an entertainer, you want to post something that will obviously get you attention. Now, me, I'm going to post something that's going to make me money or grow my list. I'm going to always post something that affects my reach, improves my reputation, or increases my revenue. If you're an entertainer, you're probably worried more about your reach and reputation. If you're a thought leader, you're worried about your reputation and your revenue. I still think always care about all 3, but when you're posting, just ask yourself, does this post prioritize or help me get more reach? You're posting, so it kind of does by default, right? Does this post help or hurt my reputation? Does this post help or hurt my revenue? That's my litmus test for everything. Let's see. Got some questions here. What are your thoughts about blogs? I still think that blogs can be incredibly useful. You do have to consider how AI might scrape your blog and whether you care about that, and whether you want to try to put text robots in that block that, or whether they will be honored. You got to think about that. I position my blogs, specifically my blogs and article posts, I position mine to dominate the questions that I want to dominate in Google search, and I position them to where I will be the answer for Google smart answers, the Google smart panel answers. So if you were to type into Google, how many YouTube channels have 1 million subscribers, I will probably be in the top 5 results, and I will probably be the Google smart panel answer. If you type in how many YouTube channels have 100,000 subscribers, I will probably be in the top 5, if not the top number 1 results, and I will be the Google smart panel answer. Not kidding. That is how I position blog articles. In fact, my goal over the next 3 years is for the most 100 to 150 most important default questions in the creator economy and in the YouTube space. My goal is to take the number 1 to number 5 spot and be the Google Knowledge result answer, the Google Knowledge Panel answer for every one of the most important 100 to 150 questions that any content creator will ever ask. And to be locked in on that and to be the authoritative, post for that. And that's where I do think that blogs are valuable, but I think they're the most valuable to someone who has a business or is a reputation based brand or a thought leader. I think they have the most value to that person. History with Dan Sterner. Thank you for the super chat. Says 10 to 20% of my traffic source per video is external, Facebook, Substack, website. Does this damage my channel growth as regards to the algorithm? Not at all. It doesn't damage your channel growth with the algorithm. YouTube might preference direct connection from its own platform because it can build a connection directly with that person if they're logged in. But if that person's logged into YouTube, it certainly doesn't hurt you. In fact, don't you think about it from this perspective. You guys are worried way, way, way too much about the algorithm. Let me ask you something. Why would McDonald's punish you for stealing Burger King's customers? Think about that. Why would McDonald's punish you for stealing traffic from Wendy's and Burger King? Why would they do that? Why would it benefit them? Why would it wouldn't incentivize that at all. YouTube's most valuable asset is attention. And the best thing YouTube can do is steal market share and customers and attention and eyeballs from its competitors. If you're not on Facebook and you're on YouTube instead, that is a good thing for YouTube. So why would it punish somebody for helping it steal from its competitors? The short answer is it wouldn't. As creators, and this is not your fault for believing this, too many big YouTubers misinterpret things that YouTube corporate says, and they don't have any background in IT, business, marketing, advertising, or SEO. I was Google AdWords certified in corporate America at a web hosting company and managed a Google AdWords budget as a certified expert of $250,000 a year, which meant I spent years of my life specifically learning YouTube and Google's systems when it came to how it handles advertisers, and I was on the advertiser side instead of the creator side. That was my job in corporate America. $250,000 ad budget to manage to maximize the maximum profit for my employer, driving traffic from YouTube and Google to the employer's website to get customers. I have a reason to know how YouTube and Google's systems work. I also had a job wherein I had to organically drive traffic from Google search organically to the website, generate leads, generate sales, get customers. That was my job. Make the cash register ring, make the phone ring, make money. That was my job. I also worked in traditional advertising for TV, broadcast, entertainment. So I have a reason for why I believe the things that I believe that has been proven in the markets of corporate America before I became a full-time content creator. As I was working to be a full-time content creator, I was consulting and managing the social media of other companies across their different platforms, whether that was Facebook at the time, which was really big. Facebook Live was a big thing at the time. I was daily on Facebook Live because of that, with also Twitter at the time, Meerkat, Periscope at the time, blab.im, all these Squadcast, all these dead streaming services, right? So I have a reason and a basis to know what I know because I didn't derive my knowledge from getting lucky on viral videos for being a goofy kid on the internet. I'm not saying that to be condescending. I'm saying that to say that the reason I'm not superstitious about the algorithm is because I know the algorithm is just a way of measuring and anticipating and scaling human behavior and psychology in a scaled economy, supply and demand platform. That's all it is. That's all it does. So There's no benefit to YouTube corporate whatsoever to punish a creator who steals eyeballs, attention, and potential ad revenue from a competitor across the street, walks them into the store, and makes them a paying customer. YouTube has no reason to punish that person. Someone in the chat saying, "Hey Roberto, what do you mean Google Knowledge Panel?" The Google Knowledge Panel is when you go into Google search on your desktop or on your phone, and you see a highlighted Google result in a box, and it's like that's the Google Knowledge Panel. It's the thing that basically becomes, here's the main or official answer to your search query that Google makes authoritative and stands out and gives you details on. So that's all it is. So yeah, but yeah, YouTube would like, here's me debunking some of your YouTube algorithm myths actually. The YouTube algorithm, I will tell you how the YouTube algorithm works in a nutshell, and I'll try to make it as easy to follow as possible for everybody at home. The way the YouTube algorithm works is actually very simple. If you logged out of YouTube and you cleared all your browser and search history and all that stuff, and you went to youtube.com, it's just going to show probably the most popular stuff on YouTube at first. In fact, if you go to incognito mode, right, it's going to demand that you search for something so that it can try to cater to you. So then if you watch some videos about something you absolutely never cared about before, let's say you watch videos about The Flash, and now your timeline is going to be populated with Marvel, The Flash, possibly Star Wars, possibly anime, until it filters down to, what do you like in geek culture? Do you like comics? Do you like animation? Do you like this? Do you like that? Marvel, DC, and it's going to try and filter through that. Oh, do you like video essays about this, or do you like character lore, or do you like show recaps? It's going to start to try to analyze your pattern of behavior to say, here's what you respond to, I'll give you more of that. Here's what you don't respond to, or here's what makes you leave YouTube and go away. Here's what makes you not be our customer. I'll give you less of that. So it all responds to your signals. So all YouTube is trying to do is figure out, hey, what do you like? What's your style? What do you like? Hey, I'll be more of that. Oh, YouTube is trying to figure out, hey, do you like tall, short, black, white, Asian, Latino? Do you like blondes, redheads, brunettes? What do you like? What are you into? YouTube wants to figure that out. And then it's going to say, okay, I found out your type. Here's all of that. Here's more of that. But hey, what about this? Oh, still don't like that? Gives you the ick? Okay, nope, we won't do that. Gives you the ick. All right. It all is looking at, YouTube is looking at, how do you respond to things? What do you like? What makes you do what YouTube wants? Because what does YouTube want? YouTube wants you to stick around. YouTube wants you on their website as long as possible. It wants you on no other website if it can help it. If YouTube can keep you on its website and keep you away from the clutches of Facebook and the loving arms of Mark Zuckerberg, and keep you out of Instagram and Meta, keep you away from TikTok, and keep you out of, keep the Chinese away from you, keep the Chinese at bay, YouTube will do that. If YouTube can monopolize your time and attention and be your one and only, it will do it. And it'll be whatever you want. What do you need me to be, babe? I'll be it. Like, I'm here. YouTube will do that. It'll be whatever it needs to be to keep you away from all the other platforms. That's what the YouTube algorithm is. It will be whatever you need it to be as a consumer. You need to stop thinking like a YouTube creator. You need to start thinking like a fan. You need to start thinking like a fan. That's what my friend Brian Fanzo would say, because it's his name, Brian Fanzo. He's a social media guy, very smart guy, AI guy as well. He would tell you think like a fan. So think about it like a fan. If you're a fan of something, and YouTube puts a video in front of you that you are not interested, if you're a hardcore Marvel guy, you're going to be like, get that DC trash out of here. So YouTube's eventually going to get the hint and stop trying to recommend you content from DC. If it says, okay, I get it. You don't like The Flash. You don't like Superman. You don't like Batman. I'm going to give you Spider-Man. I'm going to give you Black Cat. I'm going to give you Miles Morales. I'm going to give you Jessica Jones. I'm going to give you Luke Cage. I'm going to give you Dr. Doom. I'm like, that's you. Okay, got it. Got it. I get it. It's going to do that. And then it's going to figure out what other preferences you have. It's eventually going to figure out, what do you watch in the morning? Maybe in the morning, you're watching Marvel stuff. Maybe in the afternoon, you're watching politics. Maybe in the evening, you're watching video essays that are esoteric or vlogs. It's going to figure that out. It's going to figure out what your preferences are and what time of day. It's going to figure out what do you watch when you're on your phone? What do you watch when you're on your TV? It's going to figure it out because its entire goal is to keep you there as long as possible. And then it's going to figure out which videos and which creators do it for you. Which creators are the most likely during this time of day to keep you watching? Which creators during this time of day are going to get you to click? Which creators on this time of day are going to get you to watch more videos? Do you watch more videos when they're under 20 minutes, under 4 minutes, over an hour? What keeps you here longer? You specifically. Then YouTube's going to figure out, we know a lot about you. Let's find more people like you and then try to cater to their preferences more easily because we figured you out. We can figure out 10,000 people like you. We figured out 10,000 people who are like you. We can find 1,000,000 people that are like you, and we know exactly how to cater to them. That's all YouTube is. That's what the algorithm is. And by the way, what you as a creator watch on YouTube has nothing to do with how YouTube handles your content that you produce. If you're thinking that, it makes no sense. There's no reason, there's no correlation between how your content is served to your audience and what you choose to watch. There's no correlation. You're just like the consumer and the creator side, that's not going to intersect. YouTube's just going to YouTube is not going to do anything to your content based on what you choose to watch on YouTube. It is the consumer. When you're a customer, you're a customer. You're clocked out. You're clocked out. When you decide to watch videos, you're clocked out. You're just another customer. What you choose to watch as a content creator has no impact on your content. You're just another customer. You're off the clock. It's like, hey, you're off the clock. Cool. Get in line. You're another customer. No employee discount either. So just think of it like that. Just think of it like that. And yeah, Doug, I use the dating analogy because YouTube started as a dating app. So just use that psychology. Just use that human psychology and it's fine. Because that's why I use the concept of, okay, well, what are people attracted to and what are they interested in? Because it's the easiest thing for all humans to understand if I use that analogy. That's the filter and understanding that. And then understanding that, okay, now this person opened their mouth and I don't like them anymore because they looked great. They great packaging, rotten core. Content can be that way too. Great packaging, rotten core. So it is what it is. That's where you can differentiate value and quality. So those things would matter. Consistency is undefeated on a long enough timeline. Quality over quantity sounds good. It only works mostly for established successful creators. And I'll be honest, it mostly works for super young people or super rich people because they're the only ones capable, usually, of justifying that amount of effort and making something that can't be competed with. Now, there are exceptions if you have status or expertise, even if it doesn't necessarily make you rich, that make you stand out and where more effort would be justified to pull something off. But for most people, most working class people, that ain't it. It ain't going to work. So there's not a reason to make that play. The answer for a working class person is to get to a level of quality to where things are not crap, to get to the acceptable threshold of this is what people said yes to, and I will take yes for an answer. Take yes for an answer. Do not be a try hard. If they're already saying, I'm already sold, you're overdoing it now. Now you're just being way, way, way too extra. I already said yes. You already had me. What are you doing? So there's a point where you will extract no additional benefits from higher and higher levels of quality, depending on what your circumstances are, what your niche is, what the audience demographics and psychographics are, and where it may not make sense financially because you're working class. There is a point where there's not any more value to get out of that quality. Quality after a certain point becomes a vanity project for creators where they would have benefited more by taking yes for an answer and giving people more of what they already said yes to instead of trying to squeeze just more drops out of like going from 95 to 100 isn't worth it compared to just putting more 95s on the board. It just seems, from a vanity standpoint, it looks better. But from a practicality standpoint, for people who either have other things in their life that matter or don't want to burn out when they're disappointed for going all this extra and it didn't do anything, then there's a certain point where quality over quantity no longer applies and will only produce diminishing returns. Most of the quality over quantity creators are unicorns anyway. They're unicorns anyway. That's why the strongest, most lucrative group today in 2025 in the entire creator middle class is people doing daily news, politics, or financial content. News, politics, financial content are now, they have the highest RPMs because they have more mid-roll ads than anyone. Longer content keeps people engaged. They have loyal tribalistic audiences for the most part that want their point of view validated. So there's a cognitive bias feature. They don't have to do heavy lifting even on their thumbnails and packaging. The title does all the heavy lifting for them. The topic does the heavy lifting. The timing does it. Some of them are smart and they even make that content evergreen in nature to where there's replay value or go back to see if someone was right or someone was lying or whatever. So they have that. So if you go and you look at people like Nate the lawyer is killing it, killing it. You go and you look at lead attorney's killing it, right? It makes sense for them to just keep going and going and going. And the audience is not asking them to make the quality better. The audience just wants them to show up every day. And so they're printing money hand over fist, and they don't have this heavy production burden, this heavy editing burden at all. And they make the most money in the media. And by that I mean make the most money out of what's attainable for like a normal, not Mr. Beast person. So that's the thing. Someone like Larry from Home Rapid Repair, the more videos Larry makes in the long run, the more money he will make. Is there a point where I could see and say, Larry, maybe do some upgrades, do some stuff? Maybe. The most that Larry would benefit from is just having a full-time cameraman and full-time editor, but not going wild, because Larry's stuff should never look like anything fancier than what you'll see on This Old House, Bob Vila, that sort of thing as a home improvement channel. Larry from Home Rapid Repair just needs to be the modern Bob Vila of YouTube. His quality doesn't need to go super high to do that because it's just one camera, guerrilla style. There might be some time lapse stuff there from another angle or a GoPro that does the time lapse, something like that, and having a full-time over the shoulder cameraman. That's about all he needs, which is not fancy and does not require a big lift and is sustainable long term. Um, you know, because home improvement style content, it's evergreen, it's high RPM, there's an affiliate component, there's a sponsorship component, it's made for TV content, it's great. So, Larry from Home Rapid Repair has one of the better niches available in the entire market of content creation that benefits from a quantity much, much more than it. Once you reach a certain level of quality, it's not more quality, more quality, more quality. It's not Mr. Beast play. It's I've reached the level of quality that people really, really want. Okay, cool. Level off and now do that every day as much as possible. So, yeah. So the way the YouTube algorithm works is your first and most important thing to do is to get someone to click on your videos, then get them to not exit the video early. Do not get them to abandon the video. Get them to watch all the way to the end. Get them to engage with that video and get them to watch more videos over and over. Yeah, you want them to subscribe because you want the numbers to go up, but you want them to watch more videos and you want them to become a repeat returning viewer. You want them to be a repeat returning viewer and you want that to keep happening and you want them to share your content and bring in more people that can start that process all over again. That's all you want and need to do. That's all you want and need to do. That's exactly how YouTube works. It is not more complicated than that. The details of the execution of doing all of that is what is complicated. But like I told you, if there were no YouTube algorithm, what you go out and do is you go out and you get 100 people that are new, that never met you every day, to go and you pull out their phone, you sit there, you get them to watch your videos, and then you get them to watch more of your videos. And you'd go and you keep doing that until you hit 100 people for the day quota. And you do that every day for 30 days, 3,000 new people watch your channel. Great. You get your butt up, you go to the mall, you go out to the streets, you do it again, and you literally in 3 years will be 100,000 subscriber channel. If your content was good, then every one of those people that subscribed doesn't have to watch all of your videos or watch your new videos. The real goal is that on top of all of that, that at least a certain percentage of those people all went and shared it with 10 of their friends in their DM group. And that brought you new people that never heard of you. And then some of them subscribed and went and got you another 10 people. That is literally how you would win without the YouTube algorithm. That is how you would win without the YouTube algorithm. I'm not telling you to go out and personally recruit people to watch your YouTube videos, but I'm making the point that if you needed a way, and the way we did this before YouTube was that's how you did it. You literally had to do that before there was a YouTube. And so you would do that in person or on the internet streets, you would hustle. And if you were wild, you'd build a street team with your 5 homies from high school, and they would be recruiting everyone to watch your videos. That's how that would work. And so they'd all go out and get you 100 people a piece a day, and then you'd blow up faster. That would be the organic growth that you'd be doing if there were no algorithm. The beauty of it is the algorithm is your street team. The algorithm is working for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Here's the kicker. Make 1,000 videos that are evergreen, and YouTube has 1,000 opportunities, multiple hours, multiple minutes of every single day to keep working on your behalf to bring people in, which is why YouTube Shorts works. YouTube Shorts works because people print out 3 to 8 YouTube Shorts a day. So they end up making, if they print out 3 YouTube Shorts a day, then they're making 100 videos a month when you're not even making 100 videos a year. They end up with 1,000 videos in a year that were relevant to people in that year. Some of them might even be evergreen. And they also have 1,000 opportunities for 1% of their videos to blow up. They made 1,000 videos. If 1% of their videos blow up, then that means 10 of their videos blew up. The Pareto principle dictates that 20% of their videos will be outliers. So if 20% of their videos are outliers and they make 1,000 of them, they have 200 videos that overperformed. What do I mean by overperformed? Drastically reached more than 10x what they normally would. So they're going to absolutely win with a volume of YouTube Shorts. As long as those YouTube Shorts all targeted one audience, they'd win. They will beat you. Like that quantity will beat quality. It's already happening. And then Pareto principle, 20% of the 20%, 40 videos of the 200, those will probably be massive outliers, borderline viral, if not viral. That's enough to do the heavy lifting because that's enough to usually 20 outlier videos is enough to make an entire 100,000 subscribed channel happen. So that's why they blow up. That's why shorts channels blow up. It's just the law of averages plus the Pareto principle. It's the law of averages plus the Pareto principle, and they win. And the creators who did that every day during the pandemic absolutely won. That's why they were able then, through the law of compounding, to get to 1 million subscribers, which is why literally during the pandemic, the number of million subscriber channels on YouTube doubled. What took 14 years for YouTube to achieve, the pandemic achieved in just 4 because of YouTube Shorts. So law of averages plus Pareto principle plus law of compounding, more gold play buttons. They doubled the amount of gold play button channels in 4 years and had previously taken 14. Why are reaction channels popular? Charlotte Dobre, Zach Rios. I'm not familiar with those particular creators, but I will tell you in general that one of the reasons reaction channels are popular is because what's more enjoyable? Watching something by yourself or your most interesting, goofy, charismatic friend watching something with you and y'all cracking jokes? Which one of those things is the better experience? Which one of those things is the better experience? Is it better to sit alone in the dark, scrolling and watching videos? Or is it better to watch videos on the couch with your wisecracking friend? So that's your answer. Someone saying, okay, so parasocial relationship. Yeah, to a degree. Parasocial relationship. Why do you think mukbang content does do? Mukbang content and foodie content does good because then people who otherwise don't have somebody. Sad to say, we live in a society where a lot of people don't get to have a sit down meal and dinner with a family. A lot of people aren't doing what I did in my 20s, where they go out every Friday night with their friends down to Chili's and have the family dinner with your found family, your adopted family, your found family. Me and the boys, when I lived in North Carolina, me and the boys had a ritual. And the thing is, after work on Fridays, we go to Chili's. Now, we go to Chili's, we'd hang out and we do this. And then sometimes we watch the movie before or watch the movie after. That was our Friday ritual. Our Friday ritual after work, that's how we did it. Movie was optional. It'd be a movie either at the house or we'd go to the theater, whatever, right? But then a lot of times we'd go and chill at the apartment or somebody else's house and afterward and we'd hang out, stay up, play video games, fall asleep, wake up the next morning, go work out, go to the gym, shenanigans, fight club in the backyard, and then we goof around. Then it's time for everybody to go wash up, get changed, get styled, and then go out Saturday night to our favorite pub. That's what we would do. Drinks and dancing. We'd go early. We'd pregame, go early. We knew the people at the bar. We'd help set up and transition from restaurant to club, not have to pay the gate fee because we helped out and we were cool and we were well known. And then we know the bartenders. Sometimes they hook us up. We get to use that to impress the girlies back then. And we'd have this ritual. Those third spaces, those post-college relationships that I just described in the Americana of the early 2000s no longer exist. Therefore, you have the Lonely Hearts Club on their phone all day, all night, every day, trying to develop parasocial relationships to supplement the fact that the close-knit friend group that I just described no longer exists in Americana, and that people did not mature from 20s and 30s and end up building families to supplement that, to have the family that they hopefully grew up with in the 90s in the last age of innocence, where they got to have dinner together at least on Sunday, breakfast hopefully in the morning before they go to school and go to work. If they didn't get to have any sit down meals, the reason mukbang content is popular is because people are eating alone and they want to feel less alone and they watch the mukbang content for that purpose. The other thing that's popular, why are family vlogs popular? Because people need some vicarious way to see what actual healthy relationship dynamics might look like because they don't get to experience them. And that's really sad. But I'm telling you the truth that the parasocial aspect of social media that everyone complains about is a reflection of the broken society wherein people are so fragmented and people are so lonely and people are so isolated from each other and people have so many walls up and people are so divided and so people are so anxious or avoided or avoidant that the only way that they feel safe to have relationships is connections and communities online where there's a physical distance, but they could allow themselves to not have the emotional distance because they can feel more safe that way. And that's like crazy to think about, but that's what happened. That's what happened. And I do not know how we ever fix this, by the way, but that's, maybe more time offline. That's fine with me. But if we do that, even if I made even if I made less money because people are on the internet less, I'd be happier if we can fix society. But my belief is that online communities and parasocial relationships with influencers and thought leaders are a reflection and symptomatic of attachment and avoidant issues in society, where people are not building the bonds and relationships that they would usually have to fulfill their desire for connection and emotional intimacy. And so I feel that it's being supplemented with these parasocial online relationships and communities instead. That's what I believe. That explains mukbang content, vlogging content, reaction content, a lot of different things. Because you would otherwise just have those experiences IRL with your friends. Because again, like my favorite thing is when I'm with my friends and or with my siblings and we're watching something and we're laughing and we're doing our own commentary track of the thing that we're watching. That's basically reaction content, right? That's reaction content. When I go out and I have a dinner with my siblings, or I go out with my friends, or whatever it is I'm doing, I am having the same experience that you get from mukbang content right then and there. So it is what it is. Yep. Again, I know it's a little deep. It's that time of night though. It's that time of night. But that's yeah, if you really think about how all this works, a lot of it is just supplemental to real life experiences that are now inaccessible. In fact, the travel content is to live vicariously for travel if you yourself do not have the means to travel. That's the travel content right there. The IRL streamers are people who are extroverted and brave enough to go out and do things while you're sitting at home watching them do things. The lifestyles of the rich and famous. The lifestyle content is the aspiration to have access to at least see what it is to have a lifestyle you don't have access to. So yeah, so it's things like that, armchair travel, so on and so forth. So again, that's my belief, that's my thought with regard to that aspect of it. But anyway, we finished up with kind of some of the Q&A here and also some of the real talk portion. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in to the first of many workshops. This is a 12-week ongoing workshop series that we're doing. If you did not get the PDF in the description of the YouTube link, make sure you're doing that in the YouTube channel. The link is in the description for you to get the PDF for the slides so that you have the information from that. You can feel free to watch the replay. The replay will be available indefinitely here on the YouTube channel. Will live forever here on the YouTube channel. So make sure you're checking that out. Thank you to all of the super chatters. And let me just do a little housekeeping, make sure I got that. Uncle Yavason, definitely. We got Jack Morgan, World According to Briggs, History with Dan Sterner, Edge Deep has a quick question. Do you have any case studies for animation channels and how they monetize? We'll have to discuss that at another time, but the main thing I would do is create intellectual property, and I would reverse engineer Disney when it comes to owning my own intellectual property. Might be a slower start, but you will want to eventually look into trademarking your animated characters, and you'll want it to be original animation instead of fan animation. Fan animation gets more views, but ultimately in the long run, original animation would be IP you can monetize more effectively. So yeah, so those were our super chatters. Thank you for that. Make sure you guys are checking out awesomecreatoracademy.com and make sure you check out everything we're offering over there. We're going to close out the stream now, and you will end up seeing a video that will tell you more about the Awesome Creator Academy Pro Group. I will catch you guys hopefully Friday. We'll be locked in for a channel review stream for anyone who wants to do super chat donations to get a channel review for about 5 or 6 minutes where you get one piece of actionable advice, one major constructive criticism, and one compliment on what you're doing well for the channel. So we do those usually on Fridays. Last Friday, I had a fever, so we weren't able to do it because I was sick and I didn't want to struggle bus through them. But we will be doing that this Friday, hopefully with no interruptions or issues. So other than that, you guys stay awesome, and I will catch you in the next video. Take care. Becoming a content creator can be a very lonely process and adventure, but it doesn't have to be. When I first got started going from 0 to 100,000 subscribers, I had to do it all by myself. I didn't have a community of like-minded and like-hearted creators to talk to or to ask for advice, and I certainly didn't have a mentor to guide me along the way. I built the Awesome Creator Academy Pro group because when I was getting started, what would have meant the world to me is not to have to struggle alone when it comes to being a full-time content creator. If I had had a community of creators that I could talk to and share information with, I would have avoided a lot of mistakes in my early career, and there would have been opportunities with brand deals where I would have gotten a better understanding of how to negotiate, and I wouldn't have undersold myself. I wouldn't have been taken advantage of in those early situations. So in the Awesome Creator Academy Pro group, myself and our co-instructor Andy Rivera, we meet twice a week for office hours with our creators, and we share information, we talk about how we're building our creator businesses, and we offer constructive criticism and critique on the things that we're working on for our projects. You'll be part of a community of usually around 100 like-minded creators who are taking this seriously just like you are. You'll also have all access as a pro group member to all of our past, present, and future courses, training, templates, digital downloads, and swipe files. You have full access to our creator blueprints where you'll see our systems and the frameworks that we use to execute. You know, you always fall or rise to the standard of your systems. A lot of people really underestimate how important that is. We have digital download templates that can help you so you don't have to start with a blank canvas. These done for you files are actually incredibly helpful, especially for things like your thumbnails, your media kits, and anything you need for your branding as a content creator to look professional. We have email swipe files that help you with reaching out to brands. We have great information in helping you price yourself and build your packages appropriately. And remember, as part of the pro group, you have the opportunity to ask questions from myself and all the other creators participating. And so this means that if you need to ask questions about negotiation or a brand deal, there's something you're not sure about, you're trying to find a better monetization opportunity with merch or affiliates, you have people who have done it before, who are already making money, that you can reach out to for advice. As I said, when I was starting out and I was flying solo, this is the thing that I wish I'd had the opportunity to be a part of, and it would have made all the difference in the world in helping me be an even more successful content creator. If you have questions, you can always reach out via support. We're happy to help you figure out if the pro group is right for you. Also, we do have the opportunity if you become a VIP member, if you also would like quarterly one-on-one coaching with me directly. Now go out there and create something awesome today, and hopefully we'll see you in the pro group. Take care.